Chapter 724. 3 days passed. Jiang Chongkong left the heavenly realm and entered the chaos world. The immortal Venerable Zhen Xian had been waiting for a long time. His expression was unprecedentedly heavy. Jiang Chongkong asked, "Immortal Venerable, did you see the contents of the instrument? See for yourself. Things are more terrifying than I thought." The immortal Venerable Zhen Xian sighed and handed him a jade token. Jiang Chongkong held the jade token, and a large amount of information entered his mind. Research after research, chasing chaos beasts, and bringing them to the heavenly realm. During that period of time, the ancient heaven realm collapsed, and the heavenly Tao split into 9 parts. It was like the end of the world. The heavenly Tao collapsed on its own, and it was not the ancient immortals who became the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao broke on its own and released the restrictions of the ancient immortals? Jiang Chongkong was shocked. Why did the heavenly Tao make this decision? This is also what I don't understand. The heavenly Tao broke on its own, causing the ancient heaven realm to collapse. The immortal Venerable Zhen Xian frowned. Many of the contents of the instrument have been deleted and cannot be recovered. Did Huda come back to clean up these contents? Jiang Chongkong guessed. The immortal Venerable Zhen Xian shook his head. He was not sure either. Jiang Chongkong continued to study the information in his mind. Apart from this, there was also the research on chaos beasts. They even studied the heavenly Tao. However, the research content regarding the heavenly Tao had been deleted. If I want to chase after it, I still have to rely on the bone dragon to find the tributary of time in the chaos world. The immortal Venerable Zhen Xian stood up and said, "I will go back to make treasures. Apart from chasing after the tributary of the river of time, there should be another way." The fiend ancestor, the primordial demon Dharch, the heavenly emperor had looked for them, so they must know something. Jiang Chongkong put away his thoughts, looked in the direction of Mount Buzhou, and tore through the chaos world. He also had to figure out the strange situation of Mount Buzhou. The majestic divine might had already penetrated deep into the chaos world. Hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, Jiang Chongkong felt a terrifying pressure. The reincarnation disk floated behind him, resisting the divine might. The closer he got, the stronger the divine might was. The reincarnation disk above his head felt a trace of pressure. Divine power poured into the reincarnation disk, activating the 6 paths of reincarnation. Jiang Chongkong sped up, tearing through the chaos and advancing for thousands of kilometers. At this point, Jiang Chongkong once again felt great pressure. Chaotic energy continuously surged into his body, strengthening the reincarnation wheel. Activating the chaotic golden body, Jiang Chongkong's aura rose again, and the reincarnation disk's pressure increased. After advancing another 30,000 kilometers, Jiang Chongkong stopped. His body was already hunched. The divine might was too terrifying, and it was already difficult for him to advance. This aura. He sensed a familiar yet strange aura. When he unsealed the seal in the relic, he released the aura of the chaos beast. Who exactly is it? The aura of this place hasn't dissipated yet. Did they go deeper or did they leave? Jiang Chongkong forced himself to raise his head and look at where Mount Buzhou was. Boundless primal chaos obscured everything. The primal chaos aura in front of them was chaotic. Streams of primal chaos turbulence almost sealed off the path ahead. After pondering for a moment, Jiang Chongkong turned around and left. He was not afraid of the chaotic currents, but the godly aura here was too terrifying. If the other party advanced, the other party's strength was not something he could deal with. After leaving the primal chaos and returning to the heavenly realm, he would wait for Venerable Zhen Xian to finish making the treasure and chase after the tributary of the river of time. As for Mount Buzhou in the heavenly realm, there shouldn't be any big problems with his secondary body here. Alliance Master, an immortal lord, found a huge chaos divine stone in the relic. An immortal emperor came in and took out a chaos divine stone that was half the height of a person. There's a special aura. Great reward. Jiang Chongkong accepted the Chaos Divine Stone, took out 2 large pieces of Chaos Beast meat, refined them, and handed them to the Immortal Emperor. You and him each take a piece. Thank you, Alliance Master. The Immortal Emperor was overjoyed and left with the meat. Jiang Chongkong brought the Chaos Divine Stone to the Chaos Divine Fire Relic. The Chaos Divine Fire burned, and the huge Chaos Divine Stone quickly melted. Immortal runes appeared one after another. It was still that special aura, and the information of a relic was clearly displayed. It's actually the relic of an immortal lord? Jiang Chongkong was a little surprised. This was the first time he had seen the relic of an immortal lord. The previous relic he had seen were all Immortal Emperor relic. Could it be because the Chaos Divine Stone was slightly bigger? This piece of Chaos Divine Stone was enough for a Demon Emperor to come over. Since he was leaving, he should increase the strength of the Demon Emperor. Soon, the Demon Emperor arrived to increase his divine body and strength. This way, the Demon Emperor's strength would truly be invincible among immortal emperors. After informing the immortal emperors of the itinerant cultivator alliance, Jiang Chongkong stepped into the chaos to search for the relic. In the gray chaos, Jiang Chongkong traveled quickly. This time, the teleportation array was further away, and the relic was also further away. Jiang Chongkong flew for 5 hours before he found the Chaos Divine Stone House. Standing on the teleportation array, Jiang Chongkong circulated his god power. Space warped, and Jiang Chongkong reappeared on top of a mountain of Chaos Divine Stones. A huge entrance appeared in front of him. It was pitch black inside, and he couldn't see anything. He descended from the sky, and an earthy yellow light shrouded him. Profound immortal array runes sealed the void. His god power was like a blade, easily cutting the immortal array runes, and he descended to the bottom of the pit. This aura. There were remnants of the law of Earth's aura in the primal chaos current. A special power was calling out to him. Jiang Chongkong was curious. What could be calling out to him in the primal chaos? There was only a wide path in front of him. He quickly flew forward, and the primal chaos currents automatically dispersed. Roar! A violent roar suddenly sounded. An earthy yellow light shrouded the surrounding walls under his feet, and the immortal array runes gathered. A primal chaos ferocious beast suffused with the law of Earth's aura slashed over. Buzz! Divine might spread out, and the primal chaos ferocious beast stopped behind him. The surrounding immortal array runes shattered inch by inch. Peak Immortal Emperor. Jiang Chongkong suppressed the primal chaos ferocious beast and sealed it in the reincarnation wheel. The reincarnation wheel contained the 6 paths of space, and it could store living creatures, provided that their strength did not surpass his. After keeping the primal chaos ferocious beast, Jiang Chongkong walked forward quickly. If this was a primal chaos ferocious beast lair, he would have made a killing. According to the ferocious beast lair in the Blood River, the endless primal chaos ferocious beasts should be able to obtain the remaining 4 million essence, spirit, and soul energy to enter the perfected Tao body. The immortal array runes were very strong, and they could suppress ordinary late-stage immortal emperors. Everywhere Jiang Chongkong passed, the immortal array runes kept shattering. That feeling of calling grew stronger and stronger. A terrifying power came from the depths of the path. The earthy yellow light carried the powerful power of laws like a divine mountain. He clenched his right fist and infused divine power. With a boom, the law of earth dissipated, and the earthy yellow light disappeared. Jiang Chongkong's figure disappeared, and when he appeared again, he was already in the depths. A peak immortal emperor primal chaos ferocious beast was staring at him fiercely. Its body was covered in earthy yellow fur, and it emitted the aura of earth. Behind it, there was a palm-sized grayish-yellow object. It looked like gold, but it was not gold, and it looked like jade, but it was not jade. It had a gray primal chaos aura, and it was resonating with him. Why is this thing resonating with me? Jiang Chongkong was puzzled. The primal chaos ferocious beast was already charging over, and the smell of earth rushed into his nose. With a flick of his finger, a chaotic divine power flew out, and the primal chaos ferocious beast was sent flying, crashing into the wall of the chaos divine stone. The primal chaos ferocious beast bounced back, and Jiang Chongkong suppressed it with his divine power, keeping it in the reincarnation wheel. Holding the grayish-yellow object, Jiang Chongkong frowned. A suction force came over, and before he could react, he was swallowed. A heavenly realm aura made his heart sink. I was tricked. Chapter 725. The thick aura of the law of earth intertwined with the primal chaos. Rumble. A grayish-yellow divine pillar descended. Jiang Chongkong's expression turned cold as he hurriedly dodged. Divine pillars that were hundreds of feet thick came one after another. They even contained the aura of the heavenly realm. The divine pillars sealed the space around him without any gap. Even if he turned into light, he wouldn't be able to escape. Between the divine pillars, immortal array runes connected all the divine pillars together. Jiang Chongkong's expression darkened. He raised his left palm and faced a divine pillar. Rumble. The terrifying pressure caused the ground to crack. Jiang Chongkong's feet to sink into the ground. Immortal array patterns appeared on the grayish-yellow ground as well, binding him tightly. Primal chaos golden body. Jiang Chongkong's expression darkened. His body enlarged as he forcefully lifted the divine pillar. His 10,000-foot divine body had muscles like divine dragons and mountain ranges. His hair was like dragons and sharp divine weapons. Jiang Chongkong's 3 eyes twitched at the same time. The connate divine patterns shone and shook the divine pillar's might. Rumble. The divine pillar that he had just lifted suddenly sank, and the pressure doubled. Another divine pillar stacked on top of it. His arms trembled, and he looked like a giant that could prop up the heavens. Green light and God power converged at this moment. Boom. Another divine pillar stacked on top of it. Jiang Chongkong's feet sank a little. The immortal array on the ground was extremely sturdy. Even Jiang Chongkong couldn't break it in a short time. The divine pillars continued to stack on top of his head. Jiang Chongkong's left arm gradually bent. This power had completely surpassed the immortal emperor realm. This was an immortal venerable level array. Jiang Chongkong's expression darkened. He didn't know where the array's limit was. If there was no limit, he might really die here. His left arm bent a little more. Jiang Chongkong's head drooped down. His gaze was cold. Which force in the heavenly realm schemed against me? The heavenly realm's immortal aura was very dense. It was completely different from the primal chaos aura. Boom. The divine pillar above his head sank, and immeasurable immortal light shone. A figure stood on the divine pillar. Alliance Lord Jiang, how does it feel? So, it's an ant from the immortal slaying sect. And here I was wondering who would have the guts to do something like this. Jiang Chongkong's expression turned cold, and his killing intent exploded out. Above the divine pillar, the peak-level immortal emperor's god force strengthened the pillar and coldly said, "Ants?" Alliance Chief Jiang Shur is confident. Jiang Chongkong's expression was ice-cold. Boundless primordial chaos energy rose behind him as he forcefully lifted the divine pillar. His left arm slowly straightened. A peak-stage immortal emperor wants to kill this emperor? Don't you find it ridiculous? The divine power was activated again, and the divine power pillar shook. Then let's have another one. The peak-level immortal emperor left the divine pillar, but another pillar appeared. His eyes gleamed with coldness. If it wasn't for this place, this emperor really wouldn't be able to withstand a single strike from you. Sadly, how much strength do you have now? With a flash of white light, the semi-finished immortal slaying flying saber rose again. The peak-level immortal emperor of the immortal slaying sect no longer had the patience to waste words with him. How much strength do I have? I can still kill you. Jiang Chongkong snorted coldly. Facing the white light, he gathered divine power in his right palm, turning it into a giant hand that covered the sky and grabbed towards the peak-level immortal emperor. Boom! The white light was directly destroyed. The giant hand shattered the celestial light and slapped towards the peak-level immortal emperor. The peak-level immortal emperor's expression changed, and he used his top-grade 7th-grade celestial blade to protect his head. Rumble! Kacha! The giant hand landed, and the top-grade celestial blade shattered inch by inch. Violent divine power smashed onto the peak-level immortal emperor's body. The blood of the immortal emperor splattered, evaporating in the air. Terrifying divine power spread out, and shock waves swept out for thousands of miles. The celestial formation on the ground shone brightly, and no matter how terrifying the shock waves were, it wasn't damaged at all. How amazing! Even with the celestial reverent formation and the chaotic earth essence, your strength isn't reduced at all. The peak-level immortal emperor's body cracked, and his celestial emperor blood dripped down continuously. Even with the suppression of the formation and the boundless divine pillars, he still couldn't cross the heavenly moat and kill Jiang Changkong. The strength of the person in front of him couldn't be measured by an immortal emperor. Only an immortal reverent could. Jiang Changkong's expression was indifferent, but his heart was extremely heavy. The setup here clearly wasn't something that a peak-level immortal emperor could do. The chaotic beasts outside, and the formation here, even a peak-level immortal emperor couldn't do it with his life. There were definitely stronger experts hiding in the dark. Jiang Changkong pushed the power in his body to the limit, and he wanted to break free from the immortal formation. But the power of the immortal formation was too terrifying, and it wasn't something he could break in a short time, unless he used the reincarnation disc. However, the moment he used the reincarnation disc and broke the immortal formation, that immortal reverent definitely wouldn't let go of this opportunity. The peak-level immortal emperor swallowed a pill, and his cracked body quickly recovered. "You still can't recognize reality," Jiang Changkong said mockingly. "The gap between you and me isn't something that the immortal reverent formation can make up for." He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and he pushed his exalted immortal might to the limit. A golden immortal sword with a special aura appeared. Grade 8 immortal artifact? Jiang Changkong laughed coldly. "The immortal slaying sect is really rich. To give me another grade 8 immortal artifact? Being stubborn won't let you live." The peak-level immortal emperor snorted coldly, and he activated the grade 8 immortal sword. A special aura bloomed, and a Tao intent of supremacy spread out. The immortal slaying light shone again, and the grade 8 immortal sword arrived in an instant. Jiang Changkong, who was suppressed by the divine pillar and sealed by the immortal formation, couldn't move. He was a live target. Jiang Changkong narrowed his eyes, and his left arm shook slightly. The divine pillar trembled slightly, and the power in his body was transferred to his right hand, gathering into a fist. Boom! The gray divine light was like a waterfall, and also like a chaotic galaxy, falling from the 9 heavens. Rumble! The grade 8 immortal sword pierced through the chaotic galaxy, and cut the skin of his right hand, causing gray immortal emperor blood to flow. The chaotic galaxy also landed on the peak-level immortal emperor. Bang! The peak-level immortal emperor's body exploded, turning into countless pieces of flesh. A terrifying aura spread out, and the might of an immortal reverent dissipated, forcefully taking away a ray of divine light. The grade 8 immortal sword was also sent flying. Immortal slaying sect. A peak-level immortal emperor is only SOSO. Jiang Changkong sneered, but his body sank again. Just now, he had forcefully shaken off the divine pillar, and now the pressure increased again, causing his body to hunch a little. Buzz! A vast beam of immortal light rose, illuminating the space, dispersing the gray chaos. A supreme divine might, and an aura of supremacy, pressed down on him. Jiang Changkong's chaotic laws dimmed a little, and his legs had already sunk deep into the ground. His eyes stared at the light. Immortal slaying sect master. Immortal reverent, there was another meaning to it. The immortal Tao was supreme. He had already walked to the end of the immortal Tao, and the next step was the primordial chaos saint realm. He had already comprehended the essence of the immortal Tao laws. All laws, all immortal power, had to lower their heads in front of an immortal reverent. Jiang Changkong's eyes were cold, and the reincarnation disc was already hanging behind him. This is really surprising. Under such circumstances, you still have the battle power to suppress a peak immortal emperor. Immortal slaying sect master was a peak early stage immortal reverent expert, infinitely close to a mid-stage immortal reverent. He was one of the top almighties in the heaven realm. There will be more that will surprise you. Jiang Changkong sneered, showing no fear. Even if you have an immortal array and thousands of divine pillars on your back, this emperor can still kill you. Arrogant. An immortal emperor can't shake an immortal reverent no matter what. The immortal slaying sect master's expression was cold. Today, this sovereign will let you see what true immortal slaying is. Then come and try. Jiang Changkong held the reincarnation disc in his right hand. He knew that he most likely only had the strength to attack once. If this attack didn't kill the immortal slaying sect master, he would be the one to die. Chapter 726. The Peak of the Immortal Tao, the sect master of the immortal slaying sect, an immortal sovereign. Jiang Changkong carried the divine pillar on his back and was trapped in the immortal formation. He was in a miserable state. Immortal slaying, God exterminating. The 8th grade immortal sword was activated to the extreme. The might of an immortal sovereign, an 8th grade immortal artifact. Endless profound mysteries of the immortal Tao, the pinnacle of the immortal Tao laws, wails of anguish rang out. In the void there seemed to be countless immortals beheaded. Billions of immortals died. There seemed to be only a beam of white light left in the world. It was the light of immortal slaying. Immortals wept and gods wailed. Thousands of immortals bowed their heads and 3,000 laws lowered their heads. Although it wasn't the true immortal slaying, it allowed an immortal sovereign to refine a new great divine ability. This divine ability could destroy everything. It was second only to the top divine abilities of ancient immortals. Jiang Changkong felt as though his god power and laws had been locked down. His entire body had stiffened up. The reincarnation plate trembled slightly. The might of the divine artifact dispelled the seal. 6 paths of reincarnation. Jiang Changkong gripped the reincarnation plate and poured divine power into it. 6 vortexes appeared and began to merge into one. Sky splitting. The everlasting and imperishable figure revived, holy might boundless and boundless, everlasting and everlasting, suppressing everything. An illusory reincarnation plate appeared in the hand of the Lady of Earth's shadow. It fused with the 6 paths of reincarnation and used the art of sky splitting. 6 paths of reincarnation as one. Divine artifact sky splitting. The mysterious power of sky splitting did not belong to the heavenly realm. It was even an aura above the chaos. In an instant, the divine pillar shattered and vanished. The earth cracked and the immortal formation shattered. The white light dissipated. The aura of the immortal Tao's supremacy became extremely small. Everything seemed fragile before the move of sky splitting. The sect master of the immortal slaying sect looked at the power in horror. Supremacy of the immortal Tao? Top divine abilities? They were all laughable now. This was not a power that immortals could touch. Even sages could not fathom. Without a sound, the white light dissipated. The 8th grade immortal artifact turned to dust. The Grandmaster of the immortal slaying sect could only watch as his god body dissipated rapidly, disappearing into thin air. The space was torn and chaotic energy surged in, drowning the space and devouring them. Endless chaotic energy drilled into his body and restored his divine power. In front of him, there was nothing left of the primordial chaos. Even Sect Lord Immortal Slang's spatial gear dissipated. This was something Jiang Chongkong could not control. The power of opening the heavens was too strong, and he did not have the time to take care of spatial equipment. At that time, he could only use his full strength to attack, and he didn't have time to think. Now, it seemed that combining the 6 paths of reincarnation as one and using the heaven-splitting art was unexpectedly powerful. Collapsing in the primal chaos, Jiang Chongkong was completely exhausted. He allowed the primal chaos chi to drown him. Rumble! Suddenly, the primal chaos split apart, and a giant golden hand tore through the primal chaos. Jiang Chongkong's eyes widened. This was that familiar aura, the celestial venerable who released the sealed primal beast. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the aureole behind. Jiang Chongkong was powerless to stop it. He could only place the reincarnation disc in front of him at the critical moment. Boom! The giant golden hand descended, and the wheel of reincarnation suddenly erupted with a monstrous murderous aura, engulfing Jiang Chongkong. A blurry figure appeared, shrouded in celestial light, and his face could not be seen clearly. The ancestral witch's murderous aura, a technique left behind by Hutu. The blurry figure murmured, but in the next moment, he retreated explosively. A golden divine dragon flew out of the murderous aura, crashing into the blurry figure. The celestial venerable's blood splattered, and his celestial body was torn apart. The divine dragon's attack dissipated, merging into the primal chaos. Damn it, Huda actually left a technique in the murderous aura. The cracked celestial venerable's body healed, and the blurry celestial venerable staggered. If I hadn't merged into the primal chaos in time and had a protective treasure on me, that attack just now might have taken my life. The murderous aura passed through the primal chaos. After an unknown distance, it brought Jiang Chongkong into a temple, and the reincarnation disc entered his body. Heaven Realm, Demon King Palace. The Demon King frowned. He could feel that his main body was still alive, but it was very strange. He could not sense where he was or how far he was. He only knew that his main body was unconscious. Demon King, you're frowning. Is something on your mind? Asked Sun Wuxuan. No, I'm just thinking about the treasure map. We cannot delay dealing with the celestial spirit, said the Demon King indifferently. His main body would not die, so he did not need to worry. There is still no news of the treasure map, but the celestial formation on it has already caused many deaths. Sun Wuxuan's expression was solemn. There are some abnormalities regarding the Demon Commander Stone. What abnormalities? Asked the Demon King. Inheritance. The complete inheritance of the demon race. Some of the demon race obtained some primordial era inheritance from the Demon Commander Stone. I heard that the one who obtained a drop of demon blood was not from the 10 demon commanders, but the essence blood of their ancestor, said Sun Wuxuan. The Demon King said, this is a good thing. Also, did you discover anything else? Nothing for now. We have just ascended Buzhou Mountain. Sun Wuxuan played with his monkey fur. I do not understand why the primordial immortal gods did not allow immortal emperors to enter. If immortal emperors entered, with the Demon King and my strength, we would have long reached the peak. The Demon King chuckled. It is not that easy. Even if there were no restrictions, it would be difficult for immortal emperors to reach the peak. As he spoke, the jade token flashed, and Feng Jiu's voice came out. Demon King, the Demon Master found a connate spirit stone mine and a map. A map? Could it be that treasure map? Asked the Demon King. I am not sure. Kuan Yu hid it very well. I only found out after asking the other immortal emperors. Location, said the Demon King. About 10 miles to the left of the Demon Commander Stone. Thank you. If there are any gains, I will reward you. Thank you, Demon King. After hanging up, the Demon King looked at Sun Wuxuan and transmitted the news to him. Sun Wuxuan chuckled and hurriedly ran out to contact the others. The Demon King also transmitted the news to the main body. The Itinerant Cultivator Alliance all had Chaos Divine power in their bodies. Although the main body was unconscious, he could still use it. He transmitted the news to an immortal emperor, who hurriedly contacted him. There was no telling if there was anything special about the ancestral sorcerer tree. Just as the Demon King was thinking that he might be able to take the Spirit Stone Mine, the Jade Token flashed again. 2 ultimate God Kings, Heavenly King Ziwei and Pagoda-bearing Heavenly King. Heavenly King Ziwei said, Kuan Yu found a mine and a map. We can work together to help me kill an immortal king. The Celestial Court is planning to deal with you. They are working with Kuan Yu to send out Heavenly King Ziwei. Prepare yourself and don't return, Pagoda-bearing Heavenly King. Was there something wrong with Kuan Yu's head? Since he could not deal with Jiang Chongkong's main body, he had shifted his target to him? After helping Jiang Chongkong last time, did he think that he should teach the Demon King a lesson? If that was the case, he would not hold back. He would have Sun Li and the others work with the Penglai sect and the Suppressing Yuan Immortal sect to take advantage of the situation. Now that he had been captured as the Demon King, he should not think about taking them away so easily. He should prepare the ransom. When his main body returned, he would replenish the remaining 4 million essences and complete his Taoist form. He transmitted his voice to Sun Wuxuan to have him prepare again. With a thought, the Demon King's main body awoke. Chapter 727. Inside a temple, gray chaotic aura interweave. Jiang Chongkong was lying on a table and chairs made of chaos stones. He had recovered some of his divine power. He shook his head. Fortunately, the reincarnation disk had taken him away in time, so he was not seriously injured. He sat cross-legged and absorbed the chaotic aura to recover his divine power. Endless chaotic aura surged into his body like rivers flowing into the sea. Chaos rivers surged into Jiang Chongkong's mind and began to recover his divine power. It took half a day for Jiang Chongkong's divine power to recover. He looked at the reincarnation disk. The chaos beast he had suppressed was already dead. He had done it for nothing. He had even wasted a wisp of life-saving baneful aura. Immortal Slaying Sect. Jiang Chongkong's gaze was dark as he continued to size up the reincarnation disk. Although he had suffered a loss this time, it was not without gains. After that, the immortal supremacy had intercepted an aura from the reincarnation disk. When he returned to the heavenly realm, he should be able to ask the immortal supremacy Zhenxian. Standing up, Jiang Chongkong sized up the palace. There was nothing except tables and chairs. Dong dong. There was a sound as if something was beating. Jiang Chongkong was slightly shocked. A short figure twisted and walked over. He wore a red dudu, and his skin was as translucent as jade. His hair was tied in a pigtail, and he looked like a porcelain doll. He tried his best to raise his head and size him up. May I ask where this place is? Jiang Chongkong squatted down and asked. He could sense the chaotic aura and an ancient aura from the child. The strength of an early-stage immortal emperor shocked him. Could it be that this child was left behind by Hutu? The child looked at him strangely. This is my home. Why are you here? Your home? Jiang Chongkong was stunned for a moment before he said, A sage called Hutu brought me here. Hutu? The child frowned. It was somewhat familiar, but he could not recall. This name made him feel a sense of closeness. Looking at Jiang Chongkong, the child twisted his body and said, Come with me. Where? Jiang Chongkong was puzzled. Let's eat. It's time for dinner. The child wobbled as if he couldn't even walk steadily. Jiang Chongkong was a little confused. Where was this place? Was it built by Hutu? A child who couldn't even walk steadily was actually an immortal emperor? Walking out of the temple, Huang Xiaolong saw that it was still a blurry primal chaos outside. The floor was also paved with primal chaos divine stones. Following the child, they stepped on the stone slabs, traversed the chaotic aura, and arrived before a green willow tree. The child brought him directly into the dark green willow tree. Inside was another space filled with innate spiritual qi. Hollow willow? Jiang Changkong's heart skipped a beat. There was actually a hollow willow growing here? In the connate spirit qi space, 10 children were playing happily and running in the space. Among these children, the weakest was an immortal king, while the strongest was an intermediate immortal emperor. Stop, all of you! There's a guest. The red undergarment child's childish voice shouted loudly. Oh, a guest! The 10 children hurriedly surrounded Jiang Changkong and sized him up. Where are you from? Jiang Changkong, from the heaven realm. Jiang Changkong said, May I know how to address you? And where is this place? A person called Hutu asked him to come. The red undergarment child said, Do you know him? I feel that Hutu is very familiar. No, we also feel that he is very familiar. The 10 children shook their heads in unison. Forget it. Let's eat first. The child with the red doo-doo was obviously thick-skinned and had forgotten about this matter. Little Jiang, let's eat. The 10 children looked at a silver-haired child. The silver-haired child stretched his hand into the void. His white and tender arm grabbed a stream of innate spirit liquid and gave it to everyone. I don't need it. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, I'm not hungry. This innate spirit liquid actually had no essence, qi, or spirit. This made him feel a little strange. Seeing that Chen Fan didn't want it, the children didn't hesitate and continued to eat. After eating, they began to play again. Dense immortal light was emitted from their bodies. A misty immortal light interweaved and formed a divine mountain. Mount Buzhou. A glowing map with the sun, moon, stars, mountains, and rivers appeared on the divine mountain. This wouldn't be that treasure map, right? Did Hutu hide the location of the treasure map on the 11 children? Zhurong, you're so stupid. Don't you know how to hide? A young voice came. Zhurong? Jiang Changkong was slightly stunned. The red undergarment child was Zhurong? The silver-haired one who grabbed the innate spirit liquid from the void couldn't be Jiang, right? While he was still in a daze, the reincarnation disk released a beam of energy that broke the void and took him away. I haven't even seen them clearly. Jiang Changkong knocked on the reincarnation disk. He saw 11 children and 11 ancestral witches? Only Hutu wasn't there? Was it because Hutu had left? The reincarnation disk vibrated and sent out a message. Jiang Changkong fell silent. So, that place was fake. The 11 ancestral witches were all illusions. They were the regret in Hutu's heart. The hollow willow was also fake. Only the temple was real. Back then, Hutu lived in the temple and was immersed in the illusion he had created. Without the strength of a sage, he couldn't see through the illusion. There was a message hidden in the illusion. The treasure map was real. Once he obtained the treasure map, the immortal spirit would have nowhere to hide. As for whether he could obtain it, it would depend on whether the divine kings under him were capable. Hutu's regret. However, what are the 12 ancestral witch trees on Mount Buzhou? Jiang Changkong pondered in his heart. What secrets did that tree hide? The reincarnation disk stopped. It had already left that place and entered the chaos. Jiang Changkong could sense that his secondary body wasn't far from the heavenly realm. The reincarnation disk returned to his body and fell silent. Let's go back first and get the demon emperor to retrieve the treasure map. Jiang Changkong relayed the message to the demon emperor. Only the demon emperor could have the treasure map, which he could not do at the moment. Unless he could stand at the pinnacle of the heavenly realm and become a peak immortal lord, or even the very limits. The demon emperor received the message that he would look for the treasure map after tricking Kuan Yu this time. On the other hand, Kuan Yu kept fighting despite the setbacks, and his perseverance was truly admirable. Inside Mount Buzhou, Sun Li met up with Sun Wuxing, Zhen Yuan, and the Penglai sect, intending to strike first to gain the upper hand. As for the Immortal Slayer sect, they were no longer playing with Kuan Yu. The Immortal Slayer sect had almost been tricked last time. Only the Immortal Slayer sect had gotten into trouble while the other factions were fine. Anyone would be disgusted by it. There was no suspense in this matter, not to mention that Heavenly King Ziwei and pagoda-bearing Heavenly King were no different from traitors who did not put in the effort. Jiang Chongkong was not in a hurry to return, and went straight to the immortal sect of Zhen Yuan to find the immortal Lord Zhen Xian. "Brother Jiang, is there something urgent that you have come to find me personally?" the immortal Lord Zhen Xian asked. Jiang Chongkong sighed softly. "I fell into a trap during my trip to the heavenly chaos." After telling him everything, the immortal Lord Zhen Xian laid down a barrier, grabbed his beard, and said solemnly, "Release that aura." When Jiang Chongkong released the immortal Lord's aura, the immortal Lord Zhen Xian's expression changed. The Heavenly Court. Chapter 728. Heavenly Courts. Immortal Lord Guang Fa. Celestial Venerable Zhen Xian dispersed his aura and his expression darkened. Celestial Venerable Guang Fa is very strong. He is also an expert among the intermediate Celestial Venerables. Jiang Chongkong frowned slightly. "The Heavenly Court really doesn't want to let me off. Fellow Jiang, bear with it for the time being." Venerable Zhen Xian sighed softly. The Heavenly Court was very strong. It was the true pinnacle of the immortal world. Although the Zhen Yuan celestial sect was strong, it was no match for them in a real fight. Jiang Chongkong nodded. "I will endure it. I wonder how Venerable Zhen Xian's treasure creation is going? I still need some time, about half a month." Jiang Chongkong didn't return to his territory. Instead, he entered the primordial chaos. After pondering for a moment, Jiang Chongkong entered the ruins. This was the remnant of the immortal slaying sect. Most of the things inside had already been plundered. Those that had ferocious beasts of the primordial chaos were all annihilated. In that case, let's pay a visit to the immortal slaying sect. Jiang Chongkong used a sage artifact to conceal himself. This way, even a peak immortal reverent would find it hard to discover him unless the distance was extremely close. Now that he had killed the sect master of the immortal slaying sect, it was likely that the immortal slaying sect was in a state of chaos. After arriving in the vicinity of the immortal slaying sect, Jiang Chongkong blended into a stalk of wild grass. From time to time, disciples of the immortal slaying sect would rush over from the ruins or head to the ruins. He infused his chaos divine energy into the bodies of these disciples. These disciples, who were at most at the intermediate stage of the Celestial King stage, should not be able to see the Celestial Venerables, so they would not be able to discover his divine power. He wanted to understand the current situation of the immortal slaying sect before making his move. He would make another trip to the Heavenly Court after this. How could Jiang Chongkong endure being framed and having his baleful aura smacked away with a single slap? Anyway, there were still 2 more times. At most, he would use them all. When the time came, he would bring the things prepared by Venerable Zhenxuan the Celestial and ride the Bone Dragon to the Chaos Space. As for the Heaven Realm, he would leave everything to the Sub-Body Demon Emperor. When he returned, he would settle the score with them. After thinking of a way out, Jiang Chongkong continued to wait. 2 days passed. On the other side, Xian Mia had arrived with 113 captives. The Demon Emperor personally took action to suppress them, and sent people to inform the powers behind them. Demon Emperor, Demon Master requests an audience. Sun Yuan walked in and said respectfully, "Let him in." The Demon Emperor's tone was calm, but his heart was cold. "This time, don't even think about taking him away for free." He looked down at a map of the natural spirit stone vein, which Jin Yuan and Peng Lai had made copies of. It was not a treasure map. There were only a few points marked on it. As for what exactly was hidden there, Zhang Xian had no idea. He had already sent people to look for it, and he believed that there would be an answer soon. Kuan Yu walked in with an ugly expression. He cupped his hands and said, "Demon Master Kuan Yu greets Demon Sovereign." Dispense with the formalities. The Demon Emperor didn't even raise his head as he said indifferently, I wonder what is the purpose of the Demon Master's visit to the Demon Emperor Palace. Kuan Yu's face twitched. He braced himself and said, Demon Sovereign, my subordinates are insensible and cause some conflict. I will definitely teach them a good lesson. The Demon Master won't do anything about it. I'll leave it to Immortal Emperor Wu Xian. Demon Emperor said indifferently, Immortal Emperor Wu Xian, cripple their cultivation, or dig out their demon cores and reward them to the other demon races. Yes, Demon Emperor. Sun Wuxuan looked coldly at Kuan Yu. Demon Emperor, we are both demons. Why are you so vicious? Kuan Yu's expression changed. He said coldly, It's not a big deal that my subordinates cause some conflict. Not a big deal? Demon Emperor raised his head and looked at Kuan Yu coldly. The Demon Master allied with the Heavenly Court to target the demon race. Are you betraying the demon race and planning to defect to the enemy? Nonsense. Kuan Yu said angrily, This time, you were the ones who attacked first. You stole the Spirit Stone Mine and the treasure map. If the Demon Master didn't defect to the enemy, why were they together with the Immortal King of the Heavenly Court? Demon Emperor questioned. The Demon Master raised his head and said, The Celestial Court's banquet was an alliance to get the treasure. They were doing it for the heavenly realm. This time, the ones who attacked first were the demons under the Demon Emperor, not his subordinate. He was also confused. Why did the Demon Emperor get the news first every time? Last time, he knew ahead of time and was surrounded. He suffered a huge loss. This time, he had just formed an alliance, but before he could attack, he was defeated. There was definitely a traitor, but he didn't know who the traitor was. Could it be Feng Jiu? He heard that Feng Jiu and the Demon Emperor were getting closer these days. Feng Jiu's strength was also increasing. Why the heavenly realm? The Demon Emperor raised his eyelids and said indifferently, The people from the Heavenly Court have already confessed. Demon Master, stop quibbling. A confession under torture is not trustworthy, said the Demon Master coldly. Then let the Demon Emperor come and see who is in the right, said the Demon Emperor coldly. Either hand over the resources or scram. Dong Wang Chongyue Yu, Kuan Yu shouted angrily, but just as he spoke, a hairy hand slapped him to the ground. Sun Wuxuan looked at him coldly. You can call the Demon Emperor by his honorific name? Demon Master Kuan Yu betrayed the demon race. The Demon Emperor looked down at Kuan Yu and said coldly, Do you think I have no subordinates in the Heavenly Court? Kuan Yu's heart shook. Heavenly Court? The problem was with the Heavenly Court? Throw him out. The Demon Emperor waved his hand. Kuan Yu was thrown out by Sun Wuxuan himself. He was afraid that Kuan Yu couldn't run fast enough, so he kicked him. Sun Wuxuan returned and grinned. Demon Emperor, the Heavenly Court's Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor requests an audience. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor walked over. He had already forgotten the unhappiness from before. He cupped his hands and said, Greetings, Demon Emperor. Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor, are you here to redeem the Immortal King? Asked the Demon Emperor. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor frowned and said coldly, The Demon Emperor captured the Heavenly Court's Immortal King for no reason. Shouldn't you give us an explanation? Earth Spirit, don't be so ridiculous. The Demon Emperor snorted. The Heavenly Court's people all confessed. It was Kuan Yu's alliance. Kuan Yu came just now and threw them out. Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor also wants this treatment? The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor's expression turned ugly. This Kuan Yu is too useless. I definitely can't cooperate with him next time. The Immortal Slaying Sect was lucky this time. The Demon Emperor is quite capable to be the Demon Emperor. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor said in a low voice, Demon Emperor, what price do you want? It was clearly impossible to take the Immortal King away. The Demon Emperor said calmly, I am short on money. The monsters under me have not been rewarded for 100 years. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor, you haven't even been the Demon Emperor for a year. How did you become the Demon Emperor for 100 years? Did you become the Demon Emperor in your past life? Demon Emperor, please state your price. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor looked down and didn't want to listen to his nonsense. 50,000 peak 7th grade immortal stones. How about it? Asked the Demon Emperor. Demon Emperor, you really know how to joke. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor almost exploded. There are many spirit stone mines in Mount Bujo. I believe the Heavenly Court is very rich recently. The Demon Emperor kept the treasure map on the table and said coldly, the Heavenly Court cannot accept this price. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor said coldly, Jiang Chongkong only asked for 10,000 low-grade 7th grade immortal stones from the Immortal Slaying Sect. There are more immortal kings in the Heavenly Court. They are of higher status. The Demon Emperor said slowly, how about this? I will take 30,000 low-grade 7th grade immortal stones with me. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor fell silent. Suddenly, a voice came from outside. Chapter 729. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor was shocked when the Monster Emperor arrived. Then, he looked like he was watching a show. The Monster Emperor refused to let the monsters go. Kuan Yu, the Monster Master, could only go to the Monster Emperor. The Monster Emperor walked into the Monster King Palace. The Monster Emperor stood up to welcome him. After all, the Monster Emperor was his boss in name. Big brother, why are you here today? The Monster Emperor pretended to be confused. Kuan Yu opened his mouth, but was stopped by the Monster Emperor. I heard that second brother captured the Heavenly Court's Immortal King and made a great contribution, so I came to see. I see. Big brother, please have a seat. The Monster Emperor bowed. Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor, go back and prepare. Monster Emperor. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor looked at the Monster Emperor. Now that the Monster Emperor was here, the Monster Court Lord was in charge. The Demon Emperor smiled faintly. Second brother is the Demon Emperor and is my brother. His thoughts are my thoughts. The Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor was not surprised. He turned and left. I will go back and gather the immortal stones. The Monster Emperor smiled. Thank you, big brother. If you did not come, the Earth Spirit Celestial Emperor would not be so straightforward. The Monster Emperor nodded and did not speak. Kuan Yu raised his head again. Monster Emperor, the Monster Emperor does not want the Heavenly Court to laugh at us and think that the Monster Court is not on good terms. Now that the Monster Emperor is here, let the monsters out. Monster Master is too impatient. Sun Wuxuan sneered. You are the one who caused this disaster. The Monster Court is not on good terms because of you. Monster Emperor, this monkey is really lawless. Kuan Yu immediately hugged the Monster Emperor. He could not afford to offend Sun Wuxuan. All right. The Demon Emperor raised his hand and said indifferently, Second brother naturally has his own considerations when doing things. Thank you for your understanding, big brother. The Monster Emperor cupped his hands. Kuan Yu's face darkened. Monster Emperor, didn't you come to support me and help me get the Immortal King out? Why do you always help the Monster Emperor in front of the Monster Emperor? Kuan Yu, who was very unhappy, felt a bit resentful towards the Monster Emperor. He had worked hard for the Monster Emperor for so many years, but he could not compare to a Monster Emperor who had just come out. All of you are dismissed. This sovereign has something to discuss with the Demon Sovereign. The Demon Sovereign waved his hand. Yes. Sun Wuxuan bowed and left. Demon Arch. Kuan Yu didn't want to leave. He was worried that this Demon Sovereign would say bad things about him. Go down. The Demon Arch said coldly. Kuan Yu felt even more wronged, but he could only leave. There were only 2 people left in the shrine. The Demonic Beast Emperor set up a divine barrier. The Demon Emperor sent out a stream of god power. Second brother, tell Feng Jiao to be more discreet next time. Don't let me catch her again. I don't want to keep hiding from the demon master. The demon sovereign smiled faintly and said, "The demon Thearka's eyes are indeed like a torch. You can see through everything. Nothing can be hidden from you." He was not surprised by this. The demon emperor had controlled the demon court for many years and had failed time and time again against Kuan Yu. How could he not guess? Even if he couldn't guess it, he would be able to find out. Out of all the immortal emperors, only Feng Jiu was closest to him. Look at those demon immortal kings. If it's possible, just release them. How much resources do you need? This elder brother will give you some. The demon emperor spoke. I need a lot of resources. Also, we can't let the immortal king go easily. The demon emperor said calmly. Why? The demon Tharch frowned slightly. He had already pointed out that Feng Jiu was willing to give him some resources. He didn't even pursue the matter. Why was this demon emperor still unwilling to let the immortal kings go? The demon emperor came to the demon Thearka's side and said softly, I have found the information on the treasure map. It was almost destroyed this time. Big brother, how do you want me to let it go easily? This was not nonsense. He wanted Sun Wuxing to search. If Kuan Yu continued to target them, he would definitely find something. At that time, the news would be exposed. The demon Tharch would probably feel uncomfortable hiding such an important matter from him. Information on the treasure map? Is it that map from before? The demon Tharch raised his eyebrows. The demon emperor took out the map. No, my subordinates found it. It's precisely because of this that I've decided to strike first to gain the upper hand. After saying that, he used his divine power to condense the map and display the information on the treasure map. The demon Tharch looked at the map with a burning gaze. If he got the treasure map, he would be able to find the immortal spirit. And if he destroyed the immortal spirit, the heavenly Tao would give him the power of heaven. With enough power of heaven, he would definitely be able to peek into the saint realm. The demon Tharch had been stuck at the limit of the celestial venerable realm for many years. He also wanted to become a saint. The treasure map is here. If we can climb up, we will be able to find the treasure map and be one step ahead of them. The demon emperor pointed at a region and said, At that time, the demon court will definitely rule the world. It is still too early to rule the world. The demon Tharch restrained his emotions and said calmly, But it is indeed not suitable for the demon master to know that I can completely wipe out the demon court. The demon emperor did not speak. It seemed that this demon Tharch also knew what kind of person Kuan Yu was. However, why did he help Kuan Yu again and again, even at the expense of resources to redeem him twice? Now, all the major forces want to see the demon court fall into internal chaos. The demon Tharch smiled and said, If second brother and I are really harmonious, I'm afraid they will feel uneasy. The demon emperor nodded. So you keep Kuan Yu to constantly cause trouble for me and give me benefits? The demon Tharch continued. In the future, second brother will move to live near the barrier. If you can retrieve the treasure map, you must suppress it immediately. If an immortal king brings the treasure back, it will inevitably leak its aura and be detected. The demon emperor pondered and said, Okay. The demon Tharch continued, How many immortal stones did you ask from the heavenly court? 30,000 low-grade immortal stones. The demon emperor's expression changed. Big brother also intends to give so much? The demon Tharch. Pretend I didn't ask, okay? You really dare to ask for 30,000 low-grade immortal stones. 20,000. The demon Tharch sighed softly. Take it as my reward. Everything is as usual. Tell Feng Jiu to remember to hide. I will leave first. With that, the demon Tharch left. The demon emperor did not send him off. He only gave this little. Of course, this was also because the demon Thearka's words made people feel that they were not on good terms. Although they were not on good terms and were only brothers on the surface. Soon, the immortal king of the demon race was sent away. The demon emperor immortal stones also arrived. In name, it was a reward, but outsiders would definitely think that it was a ransom. The demon emperor did not even give face to the demon Tharch. These two were completely on good terms. Kuan Yu became even angrier. His gaze was cold. He also felt that there was something wrong with Feng Jiu. Feng Jiu's expression was calm, but she was panicking inside. Was her undercover going to fail? Aoin Yumia walked over and cupped his hand. Demon Master, from now on, I am the Demon Emperor's demon. Be smarter in the future. Kuan Yu. What did this mean? You bastard betrayed me? Feng Jiu was a little confused. Aoin Yumia became the Demon Emperor's man? Shouldn't it be her? Aoin Yumia left. Looking at Kuan Yu's expression, she knew that he was not smart. Feng Jiu said timely, Demon Master, don't be angry. I will always support you. Immortal Empress Feng Jiu, I have let you down. Kuan Yu's expression changed. He was very ashamed. How could he doubt Feng Jiu, who was loyal to the Demon Emperor? Feng Jiu was silent. Obviously, you have been abandoned by the Demon Emperor. How could he not see that Aoin Yumia was sent by the Demon Emperor? Chapter 730. After the Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor delivered the immortal stones, an invisible force left the monster race's territory. A smile appeared on the face of the Demon Emperor in the Demon Court, but he ignored him. Jiang Chongkong, who was squatting there, felt the arrival of the power. He turned invisible and entered the chaos. 50,000 low-grade 7 immortal stones were equivalent to 5 million essence, energy, and spirit. Including the 4 million from before, it was already 9 million. The invisible force sent resources. Jiang Chongkong extracted essence, energy, and spirit and improved in the chaos. Connate chaotic Tao body reached perfection. Jiang Chongkong's connate divine patterns, green light, and divine power also improved. The green light was like a dragon shuttling through his body. The connate divine patterns shone and suppressed the chaos. Where Jiang Chongkong's divine power spread, the chaos had to be still and the airflow stop. The boundless power of chaos far exceeded the power of an immortal emperor. It was hard to shake. He also had a special feeling for the chaos. It was like the place where he was born. It was close and he couldn't bear to leave. Wisps of chaos profundity and comprehension of laws surged into his mind. A few hours later, the green light retracted, the divine patterns retracted, and the divine power dissipated. Connate chaotic Tao body successfully transformed. Jiang Chongkong, Peak Immortal Emperor, God Emperor, 7 Revolution Mystic Art, Perfection, 1/32 million Connate chaotic Tao body, Perfection, 1/32 million Golden Crow Immortal Scripture, Perfection, 4/4 million Essence, Energy, and Spirit, 1045,700. Feeling the power in his body, Jiang Chongkong felt that he could easily kill the immortal slaying sect master with the reincarnation disc without using the sky-splitting art. With his current power, he didn't know if he could fight immortal venerable Guang Fa. At the immortal emperor realm, the difference between each small realm was huge. The difference between the immortal venerable realm could be said to be even greater. Immortal venerable Guang Fa's strength was even more terrifying. After a moment of silence, Jiang Chongkong used his divine power and formed an incarnation for the monster emperor to absorb. His main body didn't need to go over, so he shouldn't be discovered unless the monster emperor was watching him. He even suspected that the monster emperor knew something. But without evidence, he couldn't be sure. After returning to the heaven realm, Jiang Chongkong still did not show his face. He was very patient when it came to things like squatting. The immortal slaying sect didn't fall into chaos. Although the death of a sect leader caused grief for a few days, it didn't take long for a new sect leader to replace him. There was more than one immortal venerable. The death of an early-stage immortal venerable was not enough to make them panic. Jiang Chongkong didn't expect that he would stay there for a month. Venerable Zhen Xian's treasure had already been made. It was a compass created by combining chaotic divine stones and the law of space. Its defense was very strong. Even ordinary immortal venerables would not be able to break it. In this 1 month, he had already dug out the ore veins. Including the ones sent by the demon sovereign, it was not a small amount. Top 7th grade immortal stones, 256 pieces. High grade, 608 pieces. Medium grade, 1,260 pieces. Essence, Chi, and Spirit, 536, 800 only 30%. This vein was not bad, but it could not be considered a large vein. It could only be said that the quality was relatively high. Jiang Chongkong's expression changed. The demon emperor had sent word that the heavenly emperor of the divine court had invited them to a banquet. It was said that they had found something in Mount Buzhou and encountered difficulties. They planned to gather their strength to overcome the difficulties together. This time, they did not inform Jiang Chongkong. The people invited were the upper echelons of the 4 major factions and the 3 major immortal sects. It was obvious that Jiang Chongkong was not qualified to participate at all. Jiang Chongkong was not angry. This was his chance. The immortal venerables of the immortal slaying sect had left, leaving only a bunch of weak chickens. Even if there were immortal venerables left, they should not be too strong. The demon sovereign had already rushed over with the demon larch. He heard that the heavenly court's heavenly emperor had also gone. Should he go to the heavenly court? After thinking about it, he decided not to. The heavenly court was stronger. It was better to keep an eye on the immortal slaying sect first. After waiting for half an hour and confirming that everyone had left, Jiang Chongkong appeared in front of the immortal slaying sect's barrier. He slammed his palm on the barrier. The barrier shattered, revealing a human-shaped hole. Jiang Chongkong entered the hole and entered the immortal slaying sect's territory again. Who is it? The immortal slaying sect's immortal emperor had already sensed that the barrier was damaged. He arrived immediately with a murderous aura and vast immortal light. Someone who wants revenge. Jiang Chongkong sneered and slammed his palm down. This time, he did not intend to hold back. Power that surpassed the immortal emperor. Vast divine power smashed the laws of the few immortal emperors. Rumble. A terrifying aura erupted. The power of an immortal venerable surged. That aura of supremacy spread out. Jiang Chongkong, you are really courting death. A furious roar came from the immortal venerable aura. All of you will not survive today. The reincarnation plate appeared. 6 whirlpools appeared and sealed the void. 6 paths of reincarnation. The netherworld mighty power sealed the space. The netherworld heavenly eye between his brows shone with netherworld light. Boom! The immortal venerable aura exploded. Mournful wails rang out. The immortal venerable's methods could not save them. The immortal emperor aura dissipated and their life force was cut off. Jiang Chongkong quickly kept the spatial equipment. This time, he could not destroy them. These immortal emperors were not worth the protection of the late stage and peak immortal venerables. The peak and extreme immortal venerables were basically comprehending the Saint Tao. The late stage immortal venerables were also in seclusion. Ordinary immortal venerables were only in the early stage and mid-stage. Rumble. The immortal slaying sect's territory shook. A terrifying aura rose. Thousands of laws and endless immortal light paved a path. A figure rushed over at an extremely fast speed. Die. There were no unnecessary words. There was only anger and killing intent. Intruding into the immortal slaying sect's territory and killing immortal emperors was an unforgivable sin. The one who will die will only be you. The reincarnation plate floated behind him. It was supported by supreme might. The reincarnation Hades opened. Jiang Chongkong pushed the divine force in his body to the limit and opened the chaotic golden body again. Boom! Dang! The fist collided with the immortal sword. This time, the low-grade immortal sword could not break through the defense. Monstrous divine might swept out. The immortal venerable was sent flying. The aura of supremacy was broken by the punch. Jiang Changkong crossed an endless distance in one step. He covered the sky with one palm and the reincarnation plate followed. Immortal slaying, God exterminating. The immortal venerable's expression changed. Jiang Changkong's combat strength far exceeded his imagination. The white light was dazzling. It cut through the sky and earth. Rumble. The power of the sixth daos of reincarnation palm descended, and the mighty power of the saint item was activated. The immortal slaying sect's territory was like the underworld, as the sixth daos descended into the world. The immortal sovereign's blood splattered everywhere. The peak grade 8 immortal artifact cracked. The immortal sovereign of the immortal slaying sect's body was full of cracks. Suddenly, Jiang Changkong's eyebrows twitched. The celestial venerable expert's face lit up with joy, and he forcefully swallowed his blood. Die! The powerful immortal paragon of the immortal slaying sect was returning. He could sense that something was wrong with the sect. As long as the celestial sovereign of the immortal slaying sect could delay him for even a moment, Jiang Changkong would definitely die. But in the next moment, he couldn't smile anymore. Six daos as one, sky splitting. Jiang Changkong activated six paths as one again and used the sky opening technique. Since the other party had returned so quickly, it was impossible for him to plunder resources. In that case, why would he care if it was broken or not? I'll just kill him directly. Rumble. Lightning surged in the sky, and the might of the heavens shone brilliantly. The heavenly Tao was paying attention. The move of opening the heavens had appeared in the heavenly realm. He, the heavenly Tao, was also very flustered. Rumble. The move of opening the heavens, the reincarnation plate descended. Even with the Mount Buzhou's suppression, at this moment, the void also cracked. Endless primal chaos chi surged. The early stage immortal venerable's smile froze on his face. His divine body slowly dissipated and turned into ashes. Jiang Changkong directly escaped into the spatial crack, into the boundless primal chaos, and quickly fled. Chapter 731. With the might of the heavens gone, the incomplete heavenly Tao was such a tragedy. As long as one had the strength, they could escape into the chaos even if they angered the heavenly Tao. Kaboom! A majestic figure descended, and endless chaos surged as the powerful immortal lords of the immortal slaying sect returned. Soon, many more figures descended, all of them immortal lords. Is that Jiang Changkong? The remnant aura left all the immortal lords stunned. Even Lord Zhenxian was shocked. Didn't Jiang Changkong get the treasure and go to the chaos? Was he waiting here? Jiang Changkong, I will kill you! The immortal lords of the immortal slaying sect roared and directly charged into the chaos, feeling Jiang Changkong's aura and giving chase. The many immortal lords all charged into the chaos. Jiang Changkong's aura was very strong, and they pursued it in a frenzy. How did the immortal slaying sect and Jiang Changkong settle such a huge grudge? The immortal lords of the Penglai sect asked in confusion. Lord Zhenxian hesitated for a moment before saying, the immortal slaying sect set up a trap for Jiang Changkong in the chaos, and their last immortal lord was killed. Jiang Changkong could kill immortal lords? The immortal lords of the Penglai sect exclaimed. The other immortal lords were shocked too. Jiang Changkong's rate of growth was truly frightening. How long had it been, and yet he could slay an immortal lord? Moreover, he was at the pinnacle of an early-stage immortal lord. Yes. Although Jiang Changkong killed the previous sect master of the immortal slaying sect, there was still a mid-immortal venerate secretly making a move. If the reincarnation plate did not contain the Earth Sage's tricks, Jiang Changkong would have really died. Lord Zhenxian sighed. Old Taoist Zhenxian, did you shield Jiang Changkong and secretly inform him? The immortal lords of the immortal slaying sect asked coldly. Lord Zhenxian's expression was indifferent. You did not notice the chaos divine power in your sect's disciple, and you are blaming me? The immortal lords of the immortal slaying sect did a double take. They really did not notice it just now. Now that they thought about it, they did sense the chaos divine power in their sect's disciple. This guy had been planning this all along and had been waiting for an opportunity. Jiang Chongkong has been keeping an eye on the immortal slaying sect? The divine court divine venerate was shocked. Isn't this too ruthless? Just because I schemed against you once, you want to find a chance to take revenge? How long had they been waiting? How long had it been since the last time he had schemed against her? The immortal lords of the Penglai sect flatly said, "You lot are quite careless. You clearly schemed against them, and yet you dare to relax." The immortal sovereigns of the immortal slaying sect fell silent. Careless? Who could have imagined that Jiang Chongkong would be so ferocious as to dare charge into the immortal slaying sect's territory and start a massacre? This time, there was going to be a change of sect leader. No, Jiang Chongkong's aura has disappeared. The expression of the immortal venerate at the very front changed drastically. Jiang Chongkong's aura had completely disappeared. Could it be that they were chasing in the wrong direction? The sage artifact might have concealed it. The immortal court's immortal paragon guessed. That is possible. Let us search nearby. Even if he has a sage artifact, he would not be faster than us. 4 powerful immortal paragons like them, Jiang Chongkong's speed was pitifully slow. Even if he entered the chaos first, he would never be able to outrun them and be found. The immortal paragons searched, but found nothing in the empty chaos. Not even a strand of Jiang Chongkong's hair could be found, not even his shadow could be seen. Surprise appeared in the immortal paragon's eyes. How did Jiang Chongkong do it? Even if he had a sage artifact, he should not be able to do that. Jiang Chongkong had already slipped away while they were searching. Even immortal paragons would have a hard time noticing him fusing with the chaos, and with a sage artifact, they could only stare blindly. Jiang Chongkong was even more certain that the immortal essences were related to the chaos. Back then, the immortal essences had also fused with the chaos and led him to find the way to open the netherworld. Not even Sun Wuxuan, a pinnacle immortal emperor, sensed it. And now, he had slipped away right under the noses of the immortal paragons without them noticing. He still had 2 more chances. He was already immortal emperor pinnacle, and would soon reach immortal paragon. Would it be a waste if he didn't use it? It was not that he was too confident in himself, but that he had not vented his anger yet. He should not be left behind if he ran after one move. If he used it, then forget it. He should be able to save his life if he went deep into the chaos. If he didn't use it, then it would be for the best. It would be safer to enter the chaos. Thinking of this, Jiang Chongkong grabbed a handful of immortal emperor pills to recover. He had a lot of them. After eating dozens of them, Jiang Chongkong's divine power was almost recovered. While they were still searching, he sneaked into the heavenly realm. He tore open the void and appeared in a place he had not been in for a long time. The heavenly god palace of justice. With the protection of the power of heaven, there was no dust. It was still empty. Jiang Chongkong sighed with emotion. The door of the palace opened and Jiang Chongkong walked out. It was the southern heavenly gate. You are the heavenly god of justice? The heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals of the southern heavenly gate were slightly stunned. The heavenly god of justice was back? What the hell was going on? Wasn't he the leader of the itinerant cultivator alliance? Why did he suddenly come back? Hello, I'm back. I'll leave immediately. Jiang Chongkong smiled and took out the reincarnation disc. 6 Daos as 1, sky-splitting technique. The terrifying power of sky-splitting blasted toward the cloudy palace of the Golden Arches. This direction would definitely not be able to hurt Zilan and Yu Shui. Rumble. The void was torn open, and the buildings of the heavenly court were collapsing. The power of heaven was dissipating, and the power of chaos surged into the heavenly court. Jiang Chongkong entered the spatial rift and ran after firing a shot. The heavenly soldiers behind him were dumbfounded. Jiang Chongkong did not affect them. But aren't you a little too terrifying? He fired a shot at the cloudy palace of the Golden Arches. The entire heavenly court was enveloped in a terrifying might. It was as if an ancient existence had awakened and an ancient fiend god had descended. The immortals trembled. Wherever the power of sky-splitting passed, heaven immortals, immortal lords, and immortal kings were all turned into ashes. Doomsday had arrived. Terrified wails resounded throughout the heavenly court. The immortal kings guarding the cloudy palace of the Golden Arches peed their pants. Which madman was it that had broken in? The celestial Dharch was not here today. Seeing the power of sky-splitting approaching, the two immortal sovereigns appeared in time. The immortal Tao's supreme aura surged, and the immortal swords blocked the power of sky-splitting. Boom! The blood of the immortal sovereigns splattered. The two immortal sovereigns were sent flying at the same time, directly smashing into the cloudy palace of the Golden Arches, creating two large holes. Quickly informed the celestial Dharch. Angry roars resounded. The two immortal sovereigns hurriedly rushed out of the cloudy palace of the Golden Arches, suppressing the scattered power of sky-splitting with their divine might. A gentle moonlight sprinkled down, and the air was frozen. The cold energy froze the remaining power of sky-splitting. Is the heavenly court dead? An immortal god looked at the frozen power in horror. In the blink of an eye, he was slapped. Nonsense, be careful that I kill you. In the cold palace, Yu Shui and Fairy Xylan looked outside in a daze. That power just now made them despair. Did they riot? Jiang Chongkong is here, the moon goddess said coldly. He made a move. Heavenly God of Justice, do you really hate the heavenly court so much? Fairy Yu Shui lowered her head. No one knew what she was thinking. You also know that the current heavenly court and the current celestial Dharch are not suitable to be the only celestial Dharch, the moon goddess said coldly. No matter what they do, do your duty. In the future, no matter who becomes the celestial Dharch, you are the moon goddess, the moon goddess said coldly. Chapter 732. I don't want to be the moon god anymore, master. Fairy Yu Shui bit her lips. The moon goddess calmly said, I have no choice. Master, are you really unable to take back your position as an immortal? The moon goddess was silent for a while. She turned around and did not look at her. No. Her gaze pierced through the void and into the chaos. The position of the moon immortal no longer belonged to her, and she would never be the moon immortal again. With her help, the heavenly court's crisis was resolved. Although it did not destroy the numinous Sky King Palace, it caused the heavenly court to suffer heavy losses. The current heavenly Tao was incomplete, and the manifested heavenly court was not very sturdy. Immortal venerables could destroy it. The celestial Dharch returned very quickly. His expression was extremely gloomy as he passed on the news to the Empyreans searching in the primal chaos. Jiang Chongkong. The faces of the immortal venerables of the heavenly court turned ashen. This bastard actually attacked the heavenly court. The immortal sovereign of the immortal slaying sect was also stunned. Heavenly court? Jiang Chongkong's hatred for the heavenly court is really deep. The godly venerables of the divine court almost burst out laughing. The immortal court's immortal paragons guessed. Could the intermediate immortal paragon who schemed against Jiang Chongkong be from your heavenly court? The heavenly court's immortal sovereigns didn't have time to talk nonsense with them and quickly left. At this time, the most important thing was to hurry back. The other celestial sovereigns didn't have the mood to search anymore. The other party had already gone to the celestial court for a while. They should go back and take a look. This sovereign will return to the immortal court first. We'll meet again next time. I'll return to the divine court first. Before leaving, the divinity from the divine court did not forget to remind them, by the way, immortal slaying sect, beware of Jiang Chongkong's sudden attack. The immortal sovereigns of the immortal slaying sect. Hurry back! One by one, the immortal venerables hurried back. Fortunately, Jiang Chongkong did not come back. Immortal Venerable Penglai and Immortal Venerable Zhenxian walked together and said with a faint smile, "Where will Jiang Changkong go next? What do you think?" Venerable Zhenxian asked with a smile. "The heaven realm can no longer accommodate him. He should have fled to the chaos space," Venerable Penglai said. Venerable Zhenxian nodded. "The trouble this time is too big. Not to mention me, even if you and the demon Tharch join forces, we won't be able to protect them. I'm really surprised that the monster emperor would protect him." "Do you know why?" Venerable Penglai asked. Venerable Immortal Zhenxian shook his head. "I don't know. There should be other plans. We don't know. Let's go. The remaining days will not be easy." Venerable Penglai sighed softly. After Jiang Changkong caused a ruckus, all the major powers in the heaven realm could no longer tolerate him. If they left him in the heaven realm, who knew when he would attack them? This guy's squatting ability was too ruthless, and he had enough patience. He had clearly returned to the heaven realm, yet he refused to show himself. Instead, he waited at the entrance of the immortal slaying sect for a month. In this world, who didn't have something to do? Could it be that he had to bring the sect with him every time he went out, leaving one or a few powerful immortal venerables to guard the door at all times? Regardless of the situation in the heaven realm, Jiang Changkong had already used the jade tablet to take out the Chaos Bone Dragon. Standing on the back of the Bone Dragon and holding the Chaos Compass in his hand, he could clearly feel the location of the heaven realm. "Goodbye, heaven realm. I, Jiang Changkong, will return." The immortal emperors of the immortal slaying sect were also poor. All the resources they had added up were only 230,000, which was really a disgrace to the major sections. In the celestial world, the monster emperor immediately took over Jiang Changkong's itinerant cultivator alliance. As for the territory, whoever wanted it could go there. The immortal slaying sect was furious and wanted to destroy Jiang Changkong's itinerant cultivator alliance. Unfortunately, they were one step too late. All the people inside had joined the monster emperor. Rays of light flashed, and the representatives of the various powers gathered in the Monster Emperor Palace. "Monster Emperor, hand over everyone in the itinerant cultivator alliance." A cold voice sounded. Immortal Emperor Lu Cheng arrived. Previously, he was seriously injured by Jiang Changkong and had been recuperating. This time, he escaped. Then, it was the Heavenly Court's Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor, the Immortal Court's Zhu Tianshi, the Divine Court's Chu Hong, and the Monster Emperor Palace. The Monster Emperor's expression was indifferent. There is no itinerant cultivator alliance anymore. There are only the monsters under me. Lu Cheng's expression was cold. "Monster Emperor, are you going to become enemies with us?" The faces of the other four courts' representatives also darkened. The Monster Emperor smiled. "Why are the Celestial Court and Celestial Court involved? Jiang Changkong didn't do anything to you." "Jiang Changkong's actions are already unsettling," Xie Tianshi said solemnly. "He didn't do anything to the Celestial Court now, but what if he had a sudden impulse and went to the Celestial Court one day? They had to think of a way to deal with or get rid of such restless people who could explode at any time. Aren't you finding trouble for yourselves by doing this?" The Monster Emperor said. "Jiang Changkong didn't want to do anything at first. Now that you've caused such a ruckus, won't he bear a grudge against you? Cut the crap. You have to hand over these people today even if you don't want to," the Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor said forcefully. His expression was cold and his words were full of threats. Boom! A powerful immortal aura surged and the Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor was sent flying. His immortal body cracked and his immortal emperor blood splattered. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. They didn't expect the Monster Emperor to dare to directly attack. The Monster Emperor didn't move, but his aura that surpassed the limits of an immortal emperor enveloped the entire area. He controlled it very well. It wasn't at the immortal sovereign level, but it far surpassed them. Who gave you the courage to charge into the Monster Emperor Palace and threaten me? The Monster Emperor's eyes flashed with killing intent. So what if I kill you today? Did you really dare to start a war? Monster Emperor, we are only targeting Jiang Chongkong. We only want the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Lu Cheng's tone instantly softened. He only mustered his courage because the representatives of the three courts had arrived. As for the Immortal Slaying Sect, they were indeed strong, but they were definitely not as strong as the Monster Court. Chu Hong and Xie Tianchi looked at each other and their tones softened. Monster Emperor, we are not targeting the Monster Emperor or the Monster Court. We are only here for Jiang Chongkong. I believe that even the Monster Emperor doesn't want anyone to jump out and attack the subordinates of the Monster Emperor, right? The Monster Emperor nodded. Jiang Chongkong's actions are too much, but someone planned it first. Lu Qing remained silent. The Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor walked in and didn't say a word. His face was terrifyingly dark. I am thinking of a question. So what if you capture the Rogue Cultivator Alliance? The Monster Emperor said indifferently. You want the Shard of the Saint artifact? Then you have made the wrong decision. I have already taken care of it. This Monster Emperor was too fast. Before Jiang Chongkong acted, he must have informed them. Lu Cheng's eyes flickered. I only want to take revenge for the sect. I don't want the shard. Revenge? You can't capture Jiang Chongkong, so you want to take revenge on his subordinate. Immortal Slaying Sect is really promising, the Monster Emperor mocked. Monster Emperor, it seems like you are not going to call them out no matter what? The Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor said in a low voice. The Monster Emperor didn't attack him this time and said indifferently, I will give you Jiang Chongkong's territory. As for Jiang Chongkong's subordinates, there is a treasure exchange on Buzhou Mountain. How about it? One each? Chu Hong's eyes lit up. The Monster Emperor almost smacked him to death. You are here to rob us, right? I have been robbing you in the past. Now the tables have turned. There is only one. Whoever gets it will get it. The Monster Emperor said indifferently. One is not enough. The demonic beast emperor really has a good idea. Is he treating us like fools? This concerns the treasure map. Take it or leave it. Chapter 733. You have news of the treasure map? The expressions of the four immortal emperors froze. The treasure map was related to the immortal spirit. If they could get the treasure map and get rid of the immortal spirit, would the power of heaven rewarded by the heavenly Tao allow them to reach the limit of immortal venerables and become sages? Even if they couldn't, just touching the sage level and becoming a half-sage would be enough to sweep the world. The news of the treasure map is in this map in my hand. Demon Emperor took out a map. It was the map of Shun Long. Buzhou Mountain was a little high up. His people had to get the treasure map and explore Buzhou Mountain at the same time. They were too busy, so he could only ask for their help. Looking at their expressions, they were obviously very interested. When they climbed up and found something, they would act according to the situation. Just the news of the treasure map is probably not enough, Xie Tianchi said. The Demon Emperor laughed lightly. Everyone wanted more benefits. He understood, so he would also help. How about this? I will send some immortal kings with you to search for the treasure map, Demon Emperor said. How will we split it? Earth Spirit Immortal Emperor asked. We can't decide how to split it. Demon Emperor and the three heavenly emperors will discuss it. Demon Emperor said calmly. They didn't have the final say on how to split the treasure map. If he sent a group of immortal kings over, he would know immediately if there was anything. Will the immortal kings sent by Demon Emperor listen to our orders? Lu Qing asked coldly. Demon Emperor sneered. Since when did it become the demon race serving you? If you are in danger, let the demon race immortal kings take action. How many immortal kings do I have? Are they willing to die? It was impossible for such a good thing to happen. He had many immortal kings under him, but he couldn't just send them to die. This is just a fair competition. Demon Emperor is not sincere at all, God Court Chu Hong said. Demon Emperor had an indifferent expression. I am giving you a chance to compete. If you don't want it, you can leave. He was just curious about what was there. Was it the ancient dragon race's escape route? If these people wanted a foot after an inch, then sorry, he wasn't an idiot. The 4 immortal emperors looked at one another and left. We will go back and think about it. Goodbye. Demon Emperor waved his hand. These 4 were only representatives and could not make the decision. However, for the sake of the treasure map, he believed that the 3 Sky Emperors would compromise very soon. The Demon Tharch did not participate in this matter, but the Demon Master Kuan Yu came. He walked over with his head held high and was filled with arrogance. Demon Sovereign, the Demon Sovereign has ordered you to hand over the information regarding the treasure map. The Demon Emperor looked at the Demon Master and suddenly felt like laughing. Sooner or later, this fool would be ruined by the Demon Emperor. He had already told the Monster Emperor about the treasure map. Now that Kuan Yu was here, he was putting on a show for the 3 courts. It wouldn't be long before Jin Yuan and Peng Lai arrived. The treasure map was related to the entire heaven realm. Demon Master, why doesn't the Demon Sovereign come personally? The Demon Sovereign said indifferently. The Demon Master hasn't learned his lesson yet. Kuan Yu's face twitched. He really wanted to admit defeat. But that wouldn't do. There were still immortal emperors from other forces outside. He had to show the boldness that a Demon Master should have. Demon Emperor, this is the order of the Demon Emperor. The Demon Emperor demands that the Demon Emperor must hand over the information regarding the treasure map. Kuan Yu said coldly. This time, the Demon Tharch had spoken. He had to get it. If the Demon Emperor dared to refuse, he would definitely enrage the Demon Emperor. I will give the Demon Master the specific information when the 3 courts agree, the Demon Emperor said flatly. Kuan Yu frowned. Demon Emperor, this matter is of great importance and must not be delayed. Being 1 step ahead means being 1 step ahead of the entire immortal realm. If they could get the treasure map first and purge the immortal essences, they would not just be 1 step ahead, they could even prove their Tao and become a saint, unifying the heaven realm. The information regarding the treasure map should be a fair competition, the Demon Emperor said coolly. I have agreed to it. That is the condition of the deal. Are you really going to drag the Demon Court down for the sake of Jiang Changkong's subordinates? Kuan Yu barked coldly. Demon Master, it's better that you back out than I throw you out. The Demon Emperor said coldly. I never said I wouldn't give it. Just you wait. You humph. Kuan Yu snorted angrily and turned to leave. He still did not dare to provoke the Demon Emperor. Soon, the 4 immortal emperors returned, along with the representatives of Jin Yuan and the Peng Lai sect. Demon Emperor, we agree. Give us the map, Xie Tianshi said. The Demon Emperor threw the map over with a wave of his hand. The immortal emperors each made a copy, with Xie Tianshi frowning. Demon Emperor, it doesn't seem to have a specific location? The map that Shenron had given him did not have a specific location, and only had a single route. The Demon Emperor said coolly. I would have sent someone to retrieve it if everything was clear. Only then did the others say nothing else, and left with the treasure map. Kuan Yu had gotten a copy as well, and left angrily, very dissatisfied. The Demon Emperor had also moved the Demon King Palace outside the barrier of Mount Buzhou, and the other factions would do the same. If they obtained the treasure map, they would hold it in their hands at once. Mount Buzhou was a mysterious place. Sun Wuxing and the others were already on their way to search for the treasure map. Sun Li, Sun Qing, and the North Demon were following him to search for the treasure map. Another group of people were searching for Shenron's map. The Demon Emperor remained silent in the Demon King Palace, sensing that his true form had left the celestial realm. He had to think of a way to receive his true form in the chaos as well. If he could find a chaotic beast, he would bring it back to the celestial realm to deal with it. It would be too much of a loss to kill it in the chaos. This choice was a little difficult. He did not have many top combat power in his hands, only Sun Wuxuan. The bone dragon tore through the chaos and quickly left. Jiang Chongkong traveled through the vast chaos, using the chaos compass to maintain contact with his secondary body. The chaos bone dragon was extremely fast. Even Jiang Chongkong did not dare to say that he could catch up to it in the chaos. Fortunately, Venerable Zhen Xian's jade token could control the bone dragon. Just like that, 5 days passed. An invisible ripple spread out, and a strong fragrance came from the chaos. Jiang Chongkong was puzzled. He had never smelled this fragrance before, and his mind was clear. The bone dragon tore through the chaos, and the fragrance became stronger and stronger. His mind became more and more peaceful, and his mind became clearer. A pure white flower took root in the chaos, swaying gently and releasing a faint white light. A powerful aura fluctuated, and the pure white flower bloomed. Milky white light spread out, interweaving to form a world of light beside the flower. Jiang Chongkong did not recognize this flower. He came in front of the flower and felt the white light. The fluctuation of this pure white flower was not inferior to an ordinary peak immortal emperor. An immortal emperor-level chaos flower? Jiang Chongkong grabbed the flower and uprooted it. Immediately, the bone dragon roared, an endless white light engulfed Jiang Chongkong. Everything in front of him changed. In a space, lush flowers and divine trees towered into the sky. Rich connate spirit chi floated in this world. Huge footprints appeared on the ground, and divine mountains were cut off by an inexplicable force. With a thought, Jiang Chongkong swept his chaos divine power. This was an incomplete small world. There was no aura of living beings, and the connate spirit chi was quickly dissipating. Why did the chaos bone dragon bring him here? Chapter 734. These footprints should be the footprints of a dragon. Jiang Chongkong looked at the chaos bone dragon's claws and compared them to the footprints on the ground. If there was flesh and blood, it should be similar. His divine power entered the ground and Jiang Chongkong's chaos divine power spread. The white flower in his hand swallowed his chaos divine power and slowly converted it into connate spirit chi. This thing is used to convert connate spirit chi? Jiang Chongkong was stunned. His divine power fluctuated and information came from underground. After putting away the bone dragon, Jiang Chongkong went underground. In the underground space, there was a passageway with countless immortals engraved on the walls. These are the 12 witches? Jiang Chongkong looked at the murals and walked forward. According to the contents of the murals, Hoodoo had once brought the remaining magi here. He had opened up this small world with the 5 styles of sky-splitting. At that time, this small world was complete. Other than the magi, there were other immortals. They lived here and used the white flower to convert chaos chi into connate spirit chi. The ancient immortals cultivated, improved, and discussed the Tao here. One by one, the immortals broke through and became immortal supremacies. Jiang Chongkong even saw a familiar immortal, the moon goddess. According to the murals, the moon goddess should have touched the primordial chaos realm. He was not sure if she had reached Tao validation in the end. As he continued walking forward, there were more claw marks on the wall, destroying the murals. An arm appeared in his line of sight. The arm emitted a monstrous murderous aura and terrifying blood chi. Even he was surprised. When this person was alive, his physique was definitely not weaker than his current physique. Ancient magi? Jiang Chongkong picked up the arm. This person should be an immortal supremacy of the magi race. However, why was there only one arm? As he continued walking forward, the contents of the murals were completely destroyed by the claw marks and could not be seen clearly. More broken limbs appeared. Some contained terrifying immortal power, while others contained monstrous blood chi and murderous aura. There were magi and immortal corpses. Many ancient immortals who lived here had died. Jiang Chongkong continued forward. There were more and more broken limbs, and his aura became stronger. The pressure emanating from a single head was enough to make him feel apprehensive. He was at least a late-stage immortal venerable. Even an intermediate immortal venerable wouldn't be able to give him so much pressure with just a head. Furthermore, no one knew how many years had passed, but he was still so mighty. He must have been an extremely powerful person when he was alive. There was a bloody hole between the eyebrows of the immortal venerate's head. It looked like he had been killed by a finger. Jiang Chongkong touched the wound with his finger. The bloody hole felt more like a human finger. Puzzled, he could only continue forward. If it was done by the Chaos Dragon race, the Chaos Beast should not have intelligence. It was impossible for them to turn into humans and pierce through an immortal venerate's head. Moreover, these corpses did not have any spatial equipment. Someone must have dug them away. Quickening his pace, Jiang Chongkong arrived at the end of the passageway. It was a space about 100 meters wide and 5 meters high. The surrounding walls should have been flat before, but they were also damaged by the claw marks. Incomplete corpses were piled up in this space. The wounds seemed to have been chewed on by something. Buzz. A strange energy fluctuation, very weak, very special. Jiang Chongkong couldn't see this power. He could only sense that his divine power was slowly coming into contact with it. Everything in front of him changed. Figures appeared all around him. They were immortals with extremely powerful auras. They were walking in the passageway. Some walked in and some walked out. Jiang Chongkong watched silently. These people were all illusions. Some of these immortals sat cross-legged and cultivated here. Some used treasures to comprehend the laws. Until one day these immortals all rushed out. Danger descended. The terrifying Chaos Dragon race charged into the world. And among these Chaos Dragons there were also humanoid creatures. They had intelligence and commanded the Chaos Dragons. The violent and mindless Chaos Dragons who only knew how to kill were as obedient as pets they reared. The Chaos Dragons tore apart the bodies of the immortals and devoured their flesh and blood. Those humanoid creatures took away the treasures and began to command the Chaos Dragons to destroy the murals here. They destroyed the small world and slaughtered the immortals. Under the siege of the powerful Chaos Dragons, even the immortal venerates could only die with grievances. In the end, the strongest immortal venerate here hid something in the soil under him. Jiang Chongkong watched all of this silently. It wasn't until the last immortal died and the humanoid creatures collected all the resources that everything disappeared. The special power also disappeared. This should be the power of time that recorded that battle. Did the tributary of the river of time happen to pass by here during the battle? Was that why the Chaos Bone Dragon came here? Was this Bone Dragon a participant back then? The immortals here, Jiang Chongkong, didn't see the Moon God. The Moon God's main body was still alive and had already left. In that case, did the Chaos Dragons come when Hoodoo and the others weren't around? Dragging a corpse away, Jiang Chongkong looked at the ground. It was still very intact. He didn't know if the thing he buried had been taken away. He dug up the ground. There was soil inside. Jiang Chongkong's divine power continued to seep in. When he was about 3 meters deep, Jiang Chongkong dug out something. It was a jade strip the size of a thumb. He infused his divine power and information surged into his mind. They were the ones who provoked the Chaos Dragons? Jiang Chongkong was stunned. It was the immortals here who provoked the Chaos Dragons first? These immortals were ancient descendants. They had been taught by the ancient immortals and were extremely powerful. The strongest was a peak immortal venerate, but they had not comprehended the primordial chaos realm. They had lived in this small world their entire lives, waiting for the ancient immortals to receive them. When Huda returned, did she take them with her? Jiang Chongkong found it strange. In the end, Huda returned and saw that they were all dead? The descendants of the ancient immortals discovered humanoid creatures in the Chaos Bell. They still had intelligence and were spying on them. Therefore, they decided to strike first and capture a few. These creatures called themselves immortals. Upon seeing this, Jiang Chongkong couldn't help but be shocked. Immortals indeed originated from the chaos. After that, the immortals figured out their strength and directly commanded the chaos dragons to besiege them. In the end, the world was destroyed and the immortals were slaughtered. Even a peak immortal venerate could not save the world and eventually died. The chaos dragons were extremely powerful. The strength of the immortals was extremely terrifying. Previously, they were only spying and did not attack because they were afraid that the saint was still around. After knowing that the saint was not around, they began to attack. The immortals took away everything. This jade strip stored a remnant thought and recorded the information from back then. There was also a portion of connate spirit stones. This jade token was a storage equipment and also a symbol of status. If the descendants of the ancient immortals encountered them back then, this jade token would sense them. However, Jiang Chongkong felt that there might not be any reaction. Since the immortals could destroy them, they clearly would not let the other descendants of the immortals off. Back then, the ancient immortals opened up many small worlds in the chaos in order to escape the control of the heavenly Tao and cultivate alone to accumulate strength. The immortals should have been born a long time ago. They did not appear after the ancient immortals left. Chapter 735. After digesting the information, Jiang Chongkong took out the connate spirit stones. They were all of very high quality. After all, they were peak immortal venerables and were the strongest here. Top grade 8 spirit stones, 10. High grade 25. Middle grade 80. Low grade 130. Top grade 7 spirit stones, 560. High grade 1200. Middle grade none. Essence, energy, and spirit, 929,000. This was considered a free harvest. Jiang Chongkong was already satisfied with this harvest. The immortal spirits should have been here a long time ago. They only dared to show themselves after the ancient immortals left. Jiang Chongkong left this place. This broken small world was no longer valuable. He had already collected the flower that could convert connate spirit chi. If the connate spirit chi here dissipated, it would collapse and be assimilated by the chaos. Even if he did not collect the flower, this place would not be able to last for long. The world was broken and the connate spirit chi could not be preserved. The pure white flower could not make ends meet. It could only last until now because of its previous foundation. After leaving the broken world, Jiang Chongkong took out the bone dragon and continued on his way. His essence, energy, and spirit were less than 3 million. He was still far from becoming an immortal venerable. In the chaos divine stones would occasionally fly over and be caught by him. Only then did Jiang Chongkong think of a problem. Back then, when the immortal slaying sect schemed against him, did they already know about it or did they hide it? How did they confirm that the chaos divine stone was there? Did the immortal spirits provide the information? Now that the immortal spirits were still hiding in the heavenly realm, it would not be easy to find them. The Chaos Bone Dragon quickly traveled further and further away from the heavenly realm. Far away in the heavenly realm, the situation on Mount Buzhou was still the same. Time flew. To the immortals of the heavenly realm, time was the least valuable. Many immortal kings died on Mount Buzhou, triggering the immortal array. Some immortal kings did not even have time to react and were turned into flesh and blood. Mount Buzhou was like a demonic mountain that devoured the flesh and blood of immortals and disappeared into the mountain. The immortal kings searched carefully. A month passed. In this month, there were immortal kings who died. There were also immortal kings who obtained fortuitous opportunities and improved rapidly. For example, Sun Li, who was a peak immortal king, obtained some fortuitous opportunities during the treasure hunt and directly became an immortal emperor. Then, he was thrown out by Mount Buzhou. He stood outside the barrier with a blank expression. North Devil had also become an extreme limit immortal king, while Sun Qing had also comprehended the immortal emperor realm. It was just that he had yet to break through. Sun Wuxing suppressed his strength and didn't break through. The spirit demon emperor looked at Sun Li and asked for the fragment of the Panga banner. You broke through too early. Sun Li's face was filled with shame. Demon sovereign, this subordinate didn't want to either. It's just that the feeling came and I couldn't help it. He didn't want to break through, but he suddenly comprehended it. There were many materials on Mount Buzhou. Back then, he had found a treasured land filled with innate spiritual liquid, and as a result, he had transformed. He couldn't suppress it even if he wanted to. Forget it. You should focus on your cultivation in the future. The demon emperor sighed. It wasn't that he didn't want Sun Li to break through, but if he did, Buzhou Mountain would have one less general. The resources inside were not fated to be with Sun Li. Sun Li stood below and said respectfully, "Don't worry, demon sovereign. Sun Qing and North Devil are still inside. They will definitely bring back the treasures." "Tell me, where are we now?" the demon emperor said lightly. "Yes." Sun Li replied and used his god power to form a map. "When I came back, I was here. We are very close to the treasure map and I felt a special aura." "What aura?" the demon emperor asked. "It's similar to the holy aura of a saint artifact," Sun Li said respectfully. "Saint artifact? It seems like we are close to the treasure." The demon emperor's expression turned serious. To be able to envelop the heaven realm and search for information about celestial spirits, it must be a saint artifact. The holy aura has appeared. Soon, we will be able to get the saint artifact. At that time, the demon emperor will definitely be blessed by the heavenly Tao, and even comprehend the saint Tao. Sun Li started to suck up to him. The demon emperor waved his hand. He wasn't even a celestial venerable yet. How could he comprehend the Saint Tao? If he could comprehend the Saint Tao, then he would definitely have accumulated enough essence, energy, and spirit. "Demon Emperor, there is news from Mount Buzhou." Sun Yuan walked in and said respectfully. "What is it?" the demon emperor asked. Sun Yuan said solemnly, "The team that the demon emperor sent out has returned. They climbed the mountain with the other forces, and they saw the projection and felt the dragon aura." "Projection, dragon aura?" The demon emperor's expression changed slightly. "Yes, the projections are all dragon eggs, and they haven't hatched yet. But even if they are projections, the dragon aura is still very strong. They guess that there might be a pile of dragon eggs up there, but they are not sure of the exact number. They saw about 100 this time." Sun Yuan replied, "The Heavenly Court plans to invite the East Sea Dragon King to ascend Mount Buzhou." The East Sea Dragon King went to Mount Buzhou. The Demon Emperor said solemnly, "Continue to pay attention to this matter. Once there is news, report back immediately." "Yes." Sun Yuan left respectfully. "Dragon eggs? The 1,000 dragon eggs?" Hudu placed all the dragon eggs on Mount Buzhou. Was she protecting them, or something else? Just the projection alone had a strong dragon aura. Those dragon eggs should be good. If they hatched, if Hudu wanted to nurture dragon eggs after so many years on Mount Buzhou, there would probably be 1,000 strong true dragons. The 12 witch trees, the 10 demon martial stones, and now there were dragon eggs. Would the other species such as Phoenix and Qilin be on there too? What about the sorcerer race that had disappeared long ago? Hudu wouldn't just watch the sorcerer race perish. Should he make a trip to the North Sea to meet the demon ancestor? He would use an incarnation. Back then, the Heavenly Emperor had sought out the demon ancestor. The demon ancestor definitely knew a lot. As for the demon Tharch, forget it. After all, he belonged to the demon race. Besides, he didn't know if the demon Thearka's power had dissipated. Much of his divine power was left in the immortal world's East Sea. Although it wasn't strong, it should be enough to meet the demon ancestor. With that thought in mind, he merged his divine power and sent an incarnation to the North Sea. The Heavenly Court didn't notice him. He came to the North Sea and entered directly. black demonic aura appeared and dragged him to the North Sea Dragon Palace. The demon ancestor was still sitting there, looking at him in boredom. Did you find something? Or have you become an immortal supremacy? Neither, the incarnation said indifferently. Then why are you here? The demon ancestor rolled his eyes and said unhappily. To ask about Mount Bujo. Since the demon ancestor wants me to become an immortal supremacy, I came to unseal him. Why didn't you give me some help? Wouldn't it be better for me to become an immortal supremacy faster? The incarnation said with a hint of dissatisfaction. He couldn't even use his demon spear shard. The demon ancestor pointed at himself. What do you think I can help you with now? You definitely know about the information about Mount Bujo. I believe you also know about the immortal essences back then. The incarnation said solemnly, I don't need you to tell me everything. Just give me some information about resources and I'll go get them. You little brat, dream on. The demon ancestor sneered. I can only give you a hint. Please tell me, demon ancestor. The incarnation hurriedly said. If the immortal emperor wants to enter Mount Bujo, he has to clear the immortal essences first. The demon ancestor said indifferently, take it as an advance notice. After getting the item and clearing the immortal essences, Mount Bujo will release a portion of the restrictions. I'm about to get the treasure map. Demon ancestor, what kind of hint is that? The incarnation frowned. Does the method to collect and control it count? The demon ancestor said coldly. Chapter 736. Brat, you're still playing tricks with me by sending your incarnation here? Are you worried that I will leave your main body behind? I don't have the ability for now. There's no need to doubt me. The demon ancestor's expression was very cold. The incarnation smiled faintly. Demon ancestor, you must be joking. My main body has been forced to flee into the chaos. I don't think I can come. The demon ancestor snorted coldly and did not speak. A beam of black light entered his glabella and passed the method to control the treasure map to the incarnation. The incarnation then passed it to the demon emperor. The demon ancestor said coldly, complete the mission I gave you as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will never help you again. Demon ancestor, don't worry. I will complete it. The incarnation dissipated. In the North Sea Dragon Palace, the demon emperor continued to sit on the dragon throne in boredom. In the demon emperor palace, the demon emperor passed the method to collect the treasure map to Sun Yuan and Sun Wuxing. He checked the information of the treasure map in his mind. Without the corresponding collection method, even a peak immortal venerate would find it difficult to subdue the treasure map and use it. The demon emperor suddenly frowned. His main body had encountered a situation. After a month of traveling, they had already entered deep into the chaos. The jade strip he obtained was shining. Could there be descendants of ancient immortals here? Or who obtained the jade strip? Jiang Changkong's divine power spread out, and the Chaos Bone Dragon was already put away. If the descendants of ancient immortals had not died back then, Hoodoo would have taken them away. In this chaos, it was more likely to meet immortal spirit. The jade strip shone with light, guiding the way. Jiang Changkong quickly rushed over, his figure merging into the chaos, making it hard for others to detect him. Two figures, one male and one female, surrounded by vast immortal light, the might of a superior god enveloping the chaos. Peak Immortal Emperor. The man had a jade strip in his hand that was shining with light, guiding him. Buzz. The gray chaos parted, and a jade strip flew over, but there was no figure. Why is there only jade? The two grabbed the jade strip with puzzled expressions. Immortal power fluctuations swept the surroundings, but they could not find any living aura. Could it be that they were scattered in the chaos and we coincidentally encountered them? The woman pondered. The man shook his head. That should not be possible. The nearby area has long been cleared. If there was an incomplete world, it would not be able to resist the assimilation of the chaos. The immortal light was like a sword, piercing through the chaos and attacking indiscriminately. Ding! A sword ray dissipated, and Jiang Changkong's figure appeared. "Sir, where did you come from?" Their expressions turned serious, and the immortal swords in their hands shone with immortal light. "Why do you have this piece of jade?" Jiang Changkong stared at them. "Who are you? Fairy spirits? Are you from the heaven realm, or are you a descendant of an ancient immortal god?" The woman frowned. "We are not immortal spirits, but descendants of an ancient immortal god. Whether it's a celestial spirit or not, we'll know once we test it." Jiang Changkong pressed his right palm into the void, and chaos divine energy rippled out. Their expressions changed, and their immortal light surged. Boom! Their bodies cracked apart as the two figures broke through the primal chaos at the same time. The blood of immortal emperors sprinkled down. His bones were broken and his aura was weak. He was severely injured and on the verge of death. There was no power of heaven dissipating, but the heavenly tomes could not be used in the chaos space, so there was no way to determine if they were celestial spirits or not. "You're the celestial spirit." The man's face was deathly pale, and his breathing was weak. Jiang Changkong's figure flashed, and he fed 2 pills to them. "Jiang Changkong, heavenly god of justice of the heaven realm," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. "Heavenly god of justice? The position of an ancient immortal god, Yang Erlang?" The two of them were shocked. Jiang Changkong said indifferently, "You claim to be descendants of an ancient immortal god. How do you prove that? How do you want to prove it?" The woman's voice was cold. "We are in the chaos all year round, fighting with immortal spirit. How do you prove your identity?" "The heavenly book of justice and the heavenly eye are the best proof," Jiang Changkong said indifferently. The woman looked at the blank heavenly book, and the heavenly eye fell silent. After recovering from his injuries, the man stood up. "Descendants of an ancient immortal god, Li Qing of the Li family, greets the heavenly god of justice." "The Li family?" Jiang Changkong frowned. "That's right, this is my younger sister, Li Xiu. We are descendants of the pagoda-bearing heavenly king, Li Jing." There was a hint of pride on Li Qing's face as he said this. Jiang Changkong's eyes flashed. "Then, do you know about Lady Earth?" "Of course," Li Xiu said with a look of admiration. "Back then, Sage Lady Earth defeated the immortal spirits and almost killed them all. It was also because of Sage Lady Earth that she was able to defeat the immortal spirits and save us, the descendants of an ancient immortal god." "Then, why didn't you leave?" Jiang Changkong asked. "Sage Lady Earth didn't take us with her. The place where the ancient immortal gods went was too dangerous. Even sages couldn't guarantee their own safety." Li Qing sighed. "So, we stayed behind to guard the chaos and exterminate the remaining immortal spirit." Jiang Changkong pondered over their words. There was some possibility of it being true. Of course, there was an 80% chance that this information was true. It was about the same as what he knew. "Heavenly God of Justice, why did you come to the chaos instead of protecting the heavenly laws of the heaven realm?" Li Xiu asked. Jiang Changkong said calmly, "I came to find the route that the ancient immortal gods took and investigate the immortal spirit. Since you exterminated the immortal spirits, why are they rampant now? Did the immortal spirits seem to have been besieged? Huda had almost killed them all. If what these two said was true, with the strength of the descendants of the ancient immortal gods, shouldn't it be very easy to exterminate the remaining immortal spirits? But now, the immortal spirits were so rampant that they had infiltrated the heaven realm. Immortal spirits. Sage Lady Earth did kill almost all the immortal spirit. But the immortal spirits were very strange. Once Sage Lady Earth left, his strength suddenly increased. Li Qing said solemnly, "The strengthening of the immortal spirits caught us off guard. After that, their numbers increased even more crazily." Jiang Changkong frowned. How much do you know about the immortal spirits? We only know that the immortal spirits are related to the Chaos Beast. They can control the Chaos Beasts to fight. This is also the reason why we couldn't kill all the immortal spirits all these years. According to them, the immortal spirits and the Chaos Beasts were like herdsmen herding in the chaos. Originally, most of them were killed by Hutu. But once Hutu left, the number of immortal spirits increased. They suspected that Hutu did not find the nest of the immortal spirits, and those immortal spirits were only temporarily hiding. This made it difficult for the descendants of the ancient immortal gods. They could only resist here. Over the years, the descendants of the ancient immortal gods continued to fall, and their strength was greatly reduced. They had already gone into hiding and could only carefully hunt the Chaos Beast. Why didn't you return to the Heaven Realm? Jiang Chongkong asked. Li Qing said, we can't. Sage Lady Earth said that our ancestors had completely left the Heaven Realm and could not disturb the peace of the Heaven Realm. Also, Sage Lady Earth said that when our ancestors had established a foothold and developed, they would come to take us. Then where did they go? Even the ancient immortal gods couldn't establish a foothold in a short time? Jiang Chongkong asked curiously. I'm not sure. No information has been passed down. Li Xiu shook her head and guessed, it should be a more powerful world. Li Qing invited, Heavenly God of Justice, why don't you come to our place? Jiang Chongkong pondered for a moment and smiled. All right, thank you. Chapter 737. The Ancient Immortal God, the Descendant of Li Jing. A pagoda appeared in Li Qing's hand, completely made of chaos gems. With the immortal array runes, even a peak immortal emperor wouldn't be able to escape if he entered. Only an immortal reverend could break free. Jiang Chongkong played with it for a while before returning it to him. This thing couldn't trap him. It could be considered as proof of Li Qing's identity, a pagoda. Li Xiu also had a pagoda in her hand. She said, ferocious beasts of the primal chaos often appear in this area. Heavenly God of Justice, you have to be careful when traveling alone. Thanks for the reminder. It shouldn't be too strong, right? Jiang Chongkong said. Even two pinnacle immortal emperors dared to come out, so they shouldn't be a threat to him. The Heavenly God of Justice is very powerful, so there shouldn't be any problems, but it's better to be careful. Li Qing reminded, celestial spirits appear and disappear mysteriously, no one knows if they will appear or not. Jiang Chongkong did not continue this topic. Instead, he asked, apart from you, are there any other descendants? None nearby. Only us two siblings live here. Li Qing explained, in this primal chaos, sticking together is the most dangerous. We usually split up. Aren't you afraid that they'll attack us one by one? Jiang Chongkong raised his eyebrows. The immortal spirits are far stronger than us. We can only scatter. If we gather together and get discovered, we'll be finished. The two of them had serious expressions as they brought him to a palace. The palace was made of chaos divine stones. There were 4 rooms and 4 stone beds inside. Occasionally, friends will come over and stay for a period of time, so I prepared 2 extra rooms. Li Qing pointed at the room and asked him to pick one. Jiang Chongkong took a look. The 2 rooms were the same size, and there was only a stone bed inside. After randomly choosing one, Jiang Chongkong sat for a moment before walking out again. The 3 of them sat together and chatted. There was no immortal tea. Jiang Chongkong thought for a moment, then took out some chaos beast meat, roasted it, and sliced it. There was also immortal wine, which he had hidden in his spatial equipment after killing the immortal emperor. They were all top-notch immortal wines that ordinary immortal emperors wouldn't be able to drink. When the 2 of them saw the vicious beast meat, their eyes flickered. Jiang Chongkong didn't seem to notice. Come, have a taste of the immortal world's fine wine. You've always been in the primal chaos, so you definitely haven't tasted it before. Thank you, Heavenly God of Justice. A hint of excitement flashed across their faces. They took out their wine cups and poured a cup for each of them. The two of them downed the wine at the same time. Good wine. The two of them praised, their faces blushing. Even an immortal emperor would be drunk from this top-notch immortal wine. There's wine and meat, only immortals can live a good life. Try it, this is the meat of a peak-stage immortal emperor beast. Jiang Chongkong pushed the vicious beast meat over and ate a piece himself. Okay. The two of them picked up the vicious beast meat and slowly put it into their mouth. Jiang Chongkong only cared about pouring wine for them. He didn't seem to care whether they ate or not. The two of them swallowed, and a wave of immortal energy fluctuated. It was very weak. This wine is really not bad. Just a single mouthful is enough to allow us to improve a bit, the two said. Jiang Chongkong smiled. Of course. In the heavenly realm, this is a top-notch immortal wine. Many peak-stage immortal emperors can't even taste it. Thank you, heavenly god of justice. The two of them smiled and raised their cups. There's enough wine and meat. Drink to your heart's content, Jiang Chongkong said with a smile. His divine power had already spread out and was hidden in their bodies. Every time the two of them drank a piece of meat, their immortal energy would fluctuate slightly. Refining the medicinal power of the immortal wine? Who are you trying to fool? No matter how powerful this immortal wine is, you are still two peak-stage immortal emperors. Do you need to circulate your immortal energy to refine every mouthful? Jiang Chongkong fused his divine power into the nearby chaos. He wanted to see what these two so-called ancient descendants were up to. As they drank and ate, he asked them about immortal spirits and the nearby chaotic beasts. What kind of ferocious beasts are there nearby? Jiang Chongkong asked. There's everything. Sometimes there's a chaotic phoenix, sometimes there's a chaotic dragon. The two of them weren't very interested in talking about these things. There were many types of chaotic beasts, and they couldn't describe them all at once. However, Jiang Chongkong kept asking these questions. The two of them didn't dare to be impatient. The difference in strength was too big. They didn't reveal too much about the immortal spirit. In the end, they already knew about them. For example, they were herding in the chaos and controlling chaotic beasts. However, they didn't know the exact origin of the immortal spirits, where they came from, and how they were born. Whenever they encountered difficult questions, they would blame it on Hutu. Hutu didn't leave behind any information or it was lost. The three of them chatted for a long time for 3 days and 3 nights. Then, they began to discuss the Tao again. They talked about their understanding of the immortal Tao laws. Jiang Chongkong readily agreed and expressed his desire to understand the ancient Tao of the immortals and gods. Another 6 days passed, and the Tao discussion was still ongoing. Jiang Chongkong would take out chaotic beasts every day and let them taste them. He would even change the species. The faint fluctuations that the two of them had at the beginning were hidden better and better. Although Jiang Chongkong wanted to search their souls, he was worried that there were restrictions in their divine souls. It wasn't easy for him to meet two that he could communicate with. Of course, he had to understand them well. If he wanted to stall for time, he would give them time. He also needed time to explore the surroundings. The chaotic divine power had already spread for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, but he hadn't discovered anything yet. Another day passed. The three of them stopped. Li Qing cupped his hands. Thank you for your guidance, Heavenly God of Justice. I have really benefited a lot. Thank you, Heavenly God of Justice, Li Xiu also said respectfully. I have also benefited a lot. There's no need to be so polite. Jiang Chongkong smiled. He had already sensed it with his divine power. A chaotic beast, an early-stage immortal venerable chaotic dragon. The chaotic skeletal dragon didn't come here randomly. This should also be the path of the river of time. The chaotic dragon quickly shuttled over, but Jiang Chongkong didn't seem to notice it. Roar. Suddenly, a dragon's roar broke through the chaos, and a majestic dragon might press down. The siblings' expressions changed. It's a chaotic dragon. I can have a sumptuous meal for a change of taste, Jiang Chongkong said calmly. Heavenly God of justice, this dragon might has probably surpassed an immortal emperor. Let's retreat first. A trace of fear flashed in their eyes. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand. No need. It's just an early-stage, immortal venerable chaotic dragon. The corners of their mouths twitched. Just an early-stage immortal venerable? He directly saw that it was an early-stage immortal venerable, but he didn't seem to care. Wasn't this heavenly god of justice a peak immortal emperor? Then why did he call himself a heavenly god of justice? Roar. The dragon's roar sounded again. The chaotic divine dragon instantly crossed the distance of hundreds of thousands of kilometers. The vast dragon might stirred the chaos, and the astral winds were like blades that could cut through a peak immortal emperor. The dispersing dragon might made the two peak immortal emperors breathless. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand, and the two of them flew back. Back off, don't hurt yourself. The two of them looked at each other and retreated far away. A battle between immortal venerables wasn't something they could participate in. Roar. The sonorous dragon's roar shattered the chaos, and the sound waves caused the two immortal emperors' bodies to shake violently. Blood seeped out of their orifices. A chaotic divine dragon that was over 10,000 feet long opened its mouth and spat out terrifying flames. Its eyes were filled with violence and ferocity. Although the flame wasn't as strong as the chaotic divine flame, it wasn't too far off. Jiang Chongkong transformed into a 10,000 feet long body. Majestic green light stirred, and the flame was annihilated. Chapter 738. He didn't use the reincarnation disc, only the chaotic golden body. He also wanted to see how strong his combat power could be without using a divine artifact to improve his connate chaotic Taoist body. This early-stage, immortal venerable chaos dragon was his best opponent. His fists were like divine pillars. Coupled with his peak immortal emperor Taoist physique, it was like a peak 7th grade C stabilizing divine iron. It tore the chaos apart, shattered the astral winds, and suppressed the chaos with the innate divine runes. The laws of primal chaos surged, and a resounding dragon roar resounded. The primal chaos dragon also chose to fight in close combat. Rumble! A man and a dragon collided, and the terrifying power caused both sides to retreat. The green light fluctuated, but it did not break the defense. The dragon's body was sturdy and unharmed. This was the first time they had fought, but they were evenly matched. His 5 fingers were like blades, strengthened by the law of primal chaos. The dragon claw was like a sword, not the least bit weaker. Clang! The sword and the saber collided. Boundless divine might tore apart the primal chaos. Astral winds and chaotic currents surged in all directions. Li Qing and his sister quickly retreated. Their eyes flickered and they were deeply shocked. The Chaos Dragon clan, who was at the Immortal Prime level, was actually unable to take down Jiang Chongkong. The Heaven God of Justice was also a celestial lord. Their hearts were filled with resentment. Aren't you an immortal emperor? He's clearly an immortal venerable, but he actually tricked us. Roar. Unable to take down Jiang Kong after 2 collisions, the chaotic divine dragon became more and more furious. His violent killing intent surged as he bit down with his huge mouth. His fangs were as sharp as swords that could destroy the world. A fist wrapped in green light, a fist condensed from the laws of nature, met the sharp fangs head-on. Boom! Terrifying powers collided. Drops of blood fell into the primal chaos, tearing it apart. The green light was torn apart. Jiang Chongkong's expression changed as a bone-deep wound appeared on the back of his hand. The wound looked like it had been cut in half by a divine knife. It was neat and shocking. As for the chaotic dragon, it howled in pain. One of its fangs that was as sharp as a sword actually shook, and blood flowed out. That punch just now almost knocked out one of his teeth. Roar! The chaotic dragon roared angrily. He was completely enraged. After becoming an immortal venerable, He practically ate anyone he saw. Although it had no consciousness, it still had its instincts. The primordial chaos surged, and the dragon's tail lashed out. Rumble! Above his head, the primal chaos surged. Gray lightning crisscrossed, tearing through the primal chaos. Chaos divine lightning. The primal chaos dragon clan was the darling of the primal chaos. Within the primal chaos, they could summon the primal chaos lightning. This was similar to the dragon clan in the heaven realm who could control lightning. Jiang Changkong's green light rushed up and punched the chaos dragon. Boom! The punch landed, and the chaos dragon's dragon tail shook. Both sides were sent flying thousands of miles away. The lightning followed closely behind and blasted on Jiang Changkong's protective green light and divine power barrier. The barrier trembled and cracks appeared on it. When it landed on Jiang Changkong's body, it did not have much strength left. Jiang Changkong's 1,000-meter-tall body entered the lightning. He held the lightning with both of his hands and forcefully restrained the lightning energy. The lightning was like a pillar, and the gray chaos interweaved. Holding the lightning divine staff upside down, Jiang Changkong fiercely smashed it at the dragon of chaos. Li Qing and his sister's legs trembled at the sight of this. This Jiang Changkong is too terrifying. He actually used the chaos dragon's divine lightning as a weapon? Li Qing clenched his fists tightly in fear. Li Xiu was also terrified. Jiang Changkong's strength had completely exceeded their imagination. The two wanted to retreat, and their bodies kept shifting backward. "Why don't we leave first?" Li Qing's expression was ugly as he asked in a low voice. "Where to?" Li Xiu's gaze was heavy, and her voice was trembling. Li Qing fell silent. He did not know where to go either. Should they just run back and not care about anything? However, in this situation, if the Chaos Dragon failed and something happened to him, how would they explain it? Let's wait. Jiang Changkong does not know that this Chaos Dragon was lured here by us, Li Qing transmitted his voice. Li Xiu fell silent and agreed with his decision. Now that they had nowhere to go, they definitely could not go back just like that. Boom! The divine lightning staff lashed out, and the Chaos Dragon was sent flying. Dragon blood splattered everywhere. Looking at the dragon blood, the two's eyes were burning, but they did not dare to come into contact with it. Just the aftermath of the battle between two immortal venerables could destroy them. The sharp claws landed, and wounds appeared on Jiang Changkong's body. Gray blood splattered. The divine lightning kept lashing, and both sides were injured. It was almost a method of exchanging injury for injury. The Chaos Dragon was furious and roared. Jiang Changkong's expression was cold. He allowed his injuries to increase, but he did not panic at all. It was as if he could not feel the pain. Li Qing's expression was gloomy. This Jiang Changkong is more like a ferocious beast than a chaos beast. Li Xiu nodded solemnly. This was not just like a ferocious beast, it was completely like a ferocious beast. The primordial chaos beasts all felt pain and anger, but Jiang Changkong didn't feel anything. Boom! The divine lightning fell again, but it broke apart. Countless lightning engulfed the man and the dragon. The power of lightning entered through the wound, causing the Chaos Dragon and Jiang Changkong to experience the pain of the divine lightning striking their bodies. Boom! Jiang Changkong's hand entered the Chaos Dragon's wound, and his sharp claws similarly pierced into his body. Both sides activated their divine power at the same time, tearing off a large piece of flesh. A large amount of chaos blood splattered, but Jiang Changkong's expression was still calm. The celestial supremacy Chaos Dragon roared and pounced over again. Green light, divine power, and nomological laws gathered and fused at this moment. Sky-splitting technique. Jiang Changkong did not use his full strength, only 80% of it. Boom! The power of sky-splitting technique split the Chaos Dragon. Earth, water, fire, and wind appeared. The Chaos Dragon roared in fear and wanted to escape. Unfortunately, it was too late. The power of sky-splitting technique directly cut the Chaos Dragon in half. A shrill dragon roar resounded, and dragon blood surged in the Chaos Dragon like a heavenly river. The power of sky-splitting technique remained, and the Chaos Dragon howled in pain. It could not recover in a short period of time. It was heavily injured, and its aura weakened. Jiang Chongkong grabbed with both palms, and a vortex appeared in the two halves of the dragon's body at the same time. The sinister aura directly dragged the two halves of the dragon into the vortex, and they disappeared. He also collected the dragon blood. After all, it was at the celestial supremacy level. It would be very useful to bring it back to the heaven realm. Jiang Chongkong's body shrank and his face was pale. He breathed in and out the chaos chi to recover. The battle this time had really consumed a lot of energy. Although the Chaos Dragon's strength was not at the peak of the early-stage celestial supremacy level, it was not something an early-stage celestial supremacy could compare to. He did not need to use the reincarnation disc. He could only use the power of sky-splitting technique to capture or even kill it. As for using the reincarnation disc, he could beat it to a pulp. He sat cross-legged to recover. The chaotic aura drilled into Jiang Chongkong's body like rivers. A large amount of chaotic aura was refined and turned into majestic divine power that fused into his body. Li Qing and the other celestial supremacy did not move. Jiang Chongkong's cultivation situation did not allow them to approach him. The difference between an celestial emperor and an celestial supremacy was indeed too great. However, the power produced by cultivation was something even peak celestial emperors like them could not bear. Jiang Chongkong cultivated for an entire day and took some pills before his injuries were almost healed. However, his face was still pale and he looked very weak. This was for them to see. When he finished cultivating, the two of them hurriedly flew over and asked with concern, "Heavenly God of Justice, how is your recovery?" "I have almost recovered." Jiang Chongkong's voice was a little low, and his body was swaying. "Heavenly God of Justice, be careful." The two of them hurriedly supported him and said with concern, "From the looks of it, the Heavenly God of Justice is clearly severely injured." "It's fine, it's just a small injury. I will recover in a few days," Jiang Chongkong said. Chapter 739. Looking at Jiang Chongkong, Li Qing and the other man believed that Jiang Chongkong was truly severely injured. "This place is no longer safe. Do you want to leave?" Jiang Chongkong asked. "Chaotic beasts have no intelligence. Even if one of them dies, they won't pay attention. There shouldn't be a need to leave," Li Xiu said. Li Qing frowned and said, "Just in case, it's better to leave. I can't guarantee that the celestial spirit will be nearby." Jiang Chongkong nodded and said, "That's right. It's best if you leave. If the fairies came, they would be in big trouble. With the Heavenly God of Justice's injuries, I'm afraid he won't be able to travel." "Let me carry him," Li Qing said. "Thank you." Jiang Chongkong thanked him and did not refuse. Li Qing carried Jiang Chongkong on his back and flew away. Li Xiu quickly followed, and a slight wave of immortal energy spread out. Jiang Chongkong didn't seem to feel anything. His pale face was full of exhaustion. "Heavenly God of Justice, is that chaotic dragon dead?" Li Qing asked. "Dead," Jiang Chongkong replied. "The dragon of chaos did not die. He was suppressed in the wheel of reincarnation. He still wanted to bring it back to the heaven realm to obtain the power of heaven. It would be too much of a loss to kill the chaos dragon just like that." Li Qing lowered his head and said against his will, "The Heavenly God of Justice is really powerful, but he lied to us and said that he was only an immortal emperor." Jiang Chongkong sighed. "I'm not lying to you. I'm really an immortal emperor. It's just that my battle prowess is slightly stronger." "As if I'd believe you." Both of them didn't believe it. No matter how strong an immortal emperor was, could he defeat an immortal venerable? Li Qing asked again. The technique that the Heavenly God of Justice used to retract the Dragon of Chaos in the end was indeed impressive. What kind of divine power was that? "You're the descendants of the ancient immortal gods. yet you can't even tell. Jiang Chongkong sighed, slightly dissatisfied. Have you heard of the Five Manor Temple? Of course I've heard of it. Could it be that it's the sleeve cosmos divine ability? The two of them exclaimed. That's right. I'm on good terms with the celestial sovereign of the heaven realms, suppressing Yuan's celestial sect. The celestial venerable personally taught me the sleeve universe divine art. Jiang Chongkong said casually. Venerable Zhen Xian didn't teach him anything at all. It was just an excuse to hide the reincarnation disc. Since these two people wanted to find out about his strength, then he would let them know. If he were to send a mid-stage or late-stage immortal venerable, he could only blame himself for being unlucky. If it was an early-stage immortal reverent, then sorry, he would earn another one. How much heaven energy would an immortal venerable have? The two of them did not ask any further questions. Jiang Chongkong closed his eyes and said, We'll stop after a while. You've been in this area for many years, so you should have a place to hide. That way I can recover easily. The two of them replied. Jiang Chongkong didn't say anything else. The injuries on his body were almost healed. Although he was injured earlier, it was only a minor injury. It was just that he had used up a lot of energy, but with the help of the pills, he was almost fully recovered. 2 days later, the two of them stopped. There was also a palace here. Let's rest here. The two of them led him into the temple. Heavenly God of Justice, please rest assured. We will guard outside. Thank you. Jiang Chongkong's body staggered. He sat cross-legged on the ground and circulated his mystic art to absorb the chaotic aura. The two of them looked at each other, walked out of the temple, and secretly sent a message. The chaotic aura poured into his body like a long dragon. The commotion was too big, so the two of them could only leave. This gave them a chance. Along the way, Jiang Chongkong left some divine power behind. A 10,000-meter-tall figure flapped its wings and flew through the chaos, rushing toward their location. The gray phoenix's feathers were like divine arrows, glowing with divine light. Everywhere it passed, chaotic turbulence was stirred up. It was much stronger than the chaotic dragon from before. Jiang Chongkong was relieved. It was only an early-stage immortal venerable. At most, it would reach its limit. However, the next moment, another chaotic beast appeared, causing him to be stunned. A 10,000-meter-tall divine bull with flames on its 4 hooves rushed over with the phoenix. Both of their auras were very strong, and they were evenly matched. Was this a buy one get one free? The reincarnation disc in his body vibrated. If there were 2 early-stage immortal venerables, he could easily suppress them. The two of them outside the palace did not stop this time. Instead, they slowly slipped away. The two of them could leave the rest to the 2 chaotic beasts. Half a day later, chaotic astral winds blew, and the chaotic aura in the surroundings raged. Their ferocious auras shook the chaos. 2 massive creatures descended at the same time. Jiang Chongkong stepped out of the palace, and his aura rose to the limit. Boom! Ferocious aura and divine aura clashed for the first time, and chaotic turbulence surged. Jiang Chongkong transformed into a 10,000-meter-tall divine body and activated the chaotic golden body. Moo! Screech! With 2 long cries, the phoenix released divine flames, and its sharp claws could pierce through the defenses of an immortal venerable. The bull demon roared, and its horns glowed with a fierce light that could crush everything. Rumble! The chaos surged, and a supreme sage aura spread out from Jiang Chongkong's body. A huge disk appeared above his head. The 6 vortexes represented the 6 paths of reincarnation. The disintegrated wu-slaying sword and thousands of blood souls were coldly staring at the 2 ferocious beasts in the 6 paths. Supreme power, immortal sage aura. The bodies of the 2 chaotic beasts sank at the same time, as if they had suffered a serious blow, and they fell. Boundless divine power poured in, and the power of the 6 paths was activated. Jiang Chongkong activated the reincarnation disc and smashed it at the 2 ferocious beasts. Boom! In an instant the feathers broke, and the bull's bones shattered. Gray chaotic blood flowed like a river. 2 mournful screams resounded, causing one's heart to tremble. Jiang Chongkong controlled the reincarnation disc and kept smashing it down. The 2 early-stage, immortal venerable chaotic beasts could not fight back at all. The enraged chaotic beasts and the enraged phoenix were miserable and pitiful. The ferocious flames and the sharp and terrifying horns were useless at this moment. Facing a complete sage artifact that had activated its mighty power, they could only wait to be slaughtered. Escaping was already an extravagant hope. If not for the fact that he was worried about losing everything, Jiang Chongkong would have used the sky-splitting art and turned them into dregs. He sensed that the Li siblings had already left. This made him heave a sigh of relief. If they did not leave, he really did not know what to do. The 2 of them left. His primal chaos divine power was like a beacon in the primal chaos. They appeared here and could even summon the chaotic beast. If they were not immortal spirits, there must be some secret. They would bring Jiang Chongkong to find what he wanted. The 2 ferocious beasts were kept into the reincarnation disc. They were probably also dumbfounded at this moment. They had said that they would be heavily injured and come over to pick up someone's head, but in the end they died. Jiang Chongkong was not in a hurry to chase after them. He took out the chaotic skeletal dragon. The chaotic skeletal dragon flew quickly in the same direction as the 2 of them. It seems that our destination is almost there. Jiang Chongkong kept the chaotic skeletal dragon. It was along the way. If he found some clues, he would be able to make a huge profit. Li Qing shuttled through the chaos. Jiang Chongkong is dead for sure. Although we have lost a lord, we have completed our mission and will not be punished. Should we go back now or continue to find a place to wait? Li Xiu asked. Now that the heavenly god of justice has started to enter the chaos, the other immortals of the heavenly realm will definitely come. We will continue to wait and bury them one by one. Li Qing sneered. Li Xiu was about to speak when a vast divine might swept over. A furious roar resounded through the chaos. Damn ferocious beasts! They digested so quickly. Are the bones of the 2 immortal emperors gone? The 2 of them. What was going on? Chapter 740. The chaos beast digested very quickly. After all, it was an immortal supremacy. However, what was going on with the 2 immortal emperors? Were they talking about them? The 2 of them panicked. Jiang Chongkong won? He thought that they were eaten? Then, he tore open the beast's stomach and realized that they were not found? The 2 of them immediately felt that it was no longer safe to wait. If Jiang Chongkong really found them, what if he became suspicious? Chaos beasts had come looking for them twice. Even an idiot would have grown suspicious of them. The 2 of them did not dare to stay and ran with all their might. Jiang Chongkong followed behind unhurriedly. He was really afraid that the 2 of them would continue to find a palace to hide in. From their conversation just now, they called the Chaos Beast Lord? Could it be that the immortal spirits were the Chaos Beast's servants? After traveling for 2 days, a vast immortal light suddenly appeared in front of them. A figure stood in the chaos, suppressing the chaos with the might of an exalted immortal. What are the 2 of you doing here? A fat young man walked out. His immortal power was restrained. He was an extreme immortal emperor. Zhu Yunhe, things are bad. An immortal supremacy came from the heaven realm. 3 lords have already fallen. Li Qing had a panicked expression as he said hurriedly, Immortal supremacy? From the heaven realm? Zhu Yunhe was stunned. Shouldn't they be worshipping us? Or did you leak some information? We didn't leak it. We just met him suddenly. We secretly contacted Lord. Li Xiu explained the situation. Zhu Yunhe frowned. Then why are you running? Since he didn't discover us, so what if he suspects us? That is an immortal supremacy. He can crush us easily. The 2 of them smiled bitterly. You are really too timid. Zhu Yunhe scoffed. At most, we will follow him to the heaven realm. What are you afraid of? If we really go to the heaven realm, that will be fine. With our identity as the descendants of ancient immortals, the heavenly Tao will take care of us. Li Qing sighed. Unfortunately, the lords won't let us go. Jiang Chongkong was stunned. Were they really descendants of ancient immortals? But why were the descendants of ancient immortals mingling with chaos beasts and calling them lords? Could it be that immortal spirits were descendants of ancient immortals? That was not right either. They said that they would be taken care of by the heavenly Tao, but the primal chaos beasts and immortal spirits were not tolerated by the heavenly Tao. There's no need to panic. Even if that person comes looking for you, it can be said that you fled in panic. Zhu Yunhe said faintly. His cultivation creates such a huge commotion. Even if you wanted to approach and inform him, you wouldn't be able to do so. But what excuse can we use to escape from the pursuit of the two primal chaos beasts? The two of them had grave expressions on their faces. Those were two immortal exalted level primordial beasts. How could peak stage immortal emperors like them escape? The primal chaos beast was attracted by him. You just need to take the opportunity to escape. If not, just say that I saved you. Zhu Yunhe said indifferently, I have a spatial shuttle immortal artifact. The two of them thought about it and felt that it was feasible, but it was still a little risky. Can we really fool them? The two of them asked worriedly. No problem. Have you all forgotten your bloodline? Zhu Yunhe shook his head and said, with our status, even the most ancient celestial venerables in the heaven realm have to call us ancestors. After saying that, his face was filled with arrogance. He activated his immortal force, and a large, fat, golden pig appeared behind him. Jiang Chongkong, descendant of Zhu Beiji. That's true. Our identities can't be faked. The two of them finally felt relieved. Come on, let's eat something together. Zhu Yunhe took out some broken limbs and said proudly, This is the flesh and blood of the heaven realm, immortal emperor. Lord gave it to me. Sirs, are you going to the heaven realm again? The two of them looked enviously at the severed limbs and asked carefully. Zhu Yunhe said, It's still the same as before. Now, it's not easy to make a move in the heaven realm. All the major powers are very vigilant. Even the celestial emperors are treating them like treasures, and they have celestial venerables to protect themselves. The current immortal emperors were very hard to kill. Jiang Chongkong had killed many immortal emperors in the past, but they were all saved by immortal venerables. Sigh, I wonder when the lords will be able to conquer the heaven realm. The two of them said longingly, At that time we will have an endless supply of immortals. Soon. One more thing. Our people are about to enter the immortal world. Zhu Yunhe laughed coldly and said with a hint of excitement, The day we become our ancestors is about to arrive. I'm afraid we won't be able to enjoy such a good thing. The two of them said sourly. They were only peak immortal emperors. Just now they had tricked 3 immortal venerable level primal chaos beasts. It was already benevolent of them not to be killed. Not necessarily. This time, your Li family will be heading to the heaven realm. Other than you, the Yang family and even the witch race bloodline will return. Zhu Yunhe patted his big belly and said, I might be able to go too. We are not the only ones in the Li family. The two of them looked at him enviously. In the future, please take care of us, Lord Zhu. Sigh, what are you saying? Zhu Yunhe grinned, revealing a mouthful of fangs. We are all descendants of the ancient immortal gods. We should help each other. As he spoke, he picked up an arm and sucked it in like eating noodles. Jiang Chongkong secretly thought about the meaning of their words. This group of descendants of the ancient immortal gods were going to return to the heaven realm? Become their ancestors? There was actually the witch race bloodline. If their identities were not fake, then when they returned to the heaven realm, they would definitely be taken care of by the heavenly Tao. After reading the research materials, he knew that the ancient immortal gods did not have any enmity with the heavenly Tao. The departure of the ancient immortal gods was also permitted by the heavenly Tao. After all, the heavenly Tao destroyed itself. Under such circumstances, how could the heavenly Tao not open a back door for them to return? Furthermore, with the power of heaven, they would become the only heavenly emperors who unified the heaven realm. Try this wine. It's a fine wine from the heaven realm. Zhu Yunhe took out the wine. The two of them hurriedly thanked him and carefully took a sip, cherishing it very much. Although this wine was more than a grade lower than the one that Jiang Chongkong took out, there was no comparison at all. However, this was given by Zhu Yunhe. He was someone who might become an ancestor in the heaven realm. At that time, his status would rise in a straight line. They could only look up to him. Lord Zhu, don't call me Lord. It has not been decided yet. Maybe you too will be chosen. Zhu Yunhe raised his hand. However, Li Qing said, Lord Zhu is deeply favored by the lords. He will definitely be able to go. Even if we are lucky enough to be chosen, we will still need Lord Zhu's care. Zhu Yunhe's grin widened. He raised his wine cup and said, Come, let's drink. When we go to the heaven realm, we will definitely eat the best immortals and sleep with the most beautiful fairies. I heard that the ancient immortal god Moon God still has a divine soul. Will she notice anything? Li Xiu suddenly said. Zhu Yunhe waved his hand and said, Don't worry. If the Moon God's main body is here, the lords probably won't dare to attack the heaven realm. However, it's just a divine soul. How powerful can it be? When the time comes, we can taste the Moon God's divine soul and see if it tastes good. Li Qing said coldly, I want to eat the heavenly god of justice the most. Only by killing him and eating his flesh can we vent our anger. The three of them continued to eat and drink. Jiang Chongkong wondered if he should go out and see if they would eat him. Even if these three descendants of the ancient immortal gods were real, they had already become evil devils. Chapter 741. If the identity of an ancient descendant returned to the heaven realm, it would definitely cause an uproar. The three of them did not talk anymore and focused on eating. Golden blood sprinkled down, and the abundant immortal power intoxicated them. Although the immortal wine was inferior, it was also a rare delicacy. Zhu Yunhe's fangs were still hung with shreds of meat. Buzz! In the chaos, an invisible force separated the chaos, and a figure appeared. You too, so you didn't die. The cold voice was full of killing intent. Jiang Chongkong suddenly appeared, and chaos divine power gathered. Li Qing and Xiu Xiu were stunned. They did not dare to swallow the flesh in their hands anymore. It's over, everything is over. If not for the scene in front of them, they could still try to bluff and brush it off. But now, the immortal god flesh they were chewing could not be fake. The cold killing intent made them shiver. Their bodies were covered in cold sweat, and even their backs were wet. Zhu Yunhe's heart skipped a beat. He picked up a jade pendant and disappeared with the two of them. Jiang Chongkong did not chase after them. He came to the pile of flesh and burned it to ashes. Were the immortals of the heaven realm just food in their eyes? With his divine power, the three of them had already escaped hundreds of thousands of miles away. This distance was not considered far, but it was enough to give them some sense of security. Jiang Chongkong took out the Chaos Bone Dragon. Sure enough, the direction was the same. The place that the river of time passed through was their escape route. He just did not know where the specific clues were. Or was this group of people also pursuing that tributary of the river of time? The Chaos Bone Dragon shuttled through the chaos, traveling thousands of miles in an instant. In just a few breaths, it was already close to them. Jiang Chongkong put away the bone dragon and followed unhurriedly. If the three of them stopped, he would make another noise to scare them. They obviously did not have many companions. Even if he did not have to find their lair, he had to find a group. If they were too strong, he would come again in the future, or go back and try to pull Venerable Zhen Xian over. The three of them fled for their lives, not daring to relax at all. Even with the space jade pendant, they could only put some distance between them. They could not guarantee that Jiang Chongkong would not catch up. Where are we going now? Li Xiu asked in a panic. Zhu Yunha's expression was gloomy. He had not expected that Jiang Chongkong would be able to find his way here. He also happened to see them eating immortal god corpses. He also wanted to trick Jiang Chongkong into working for him. Li Qing said solemnly, "Are we going to find the lords, or are we going to the clan to find an immortal venerable and kill him? What if you can't kill him?" Zhu Yunha's expression was gloomy. 3 early-stage immortal venerables have perished. I wonder how strong this Jiang Chongkong is. The two of them fell silent. Late immortal venerables and peak immortal venerables weren't here for the time being. They did not know if an intermediate immortal reverend could take down Jiang Chongkong. If they couldn't take it down, their lair would be exposed. As long as Jiang Chongkong returned to the heaven realm and revealed the truth, it was very likely that they would be surrounded and killed by the immortals of the heaven realm. Even if the immortals and deities of the heaven realm did not dare to come out, their return and the progress of their plans would be affected. In fact, the immortals and deities of the heaven realm would set up a trap and kill them all when they went to the heaven realm. Let's go to that place. As long as he goes in, he can forget about coming out easily. Zhu Yunha's expression turned cold as he led them in another direction. You're crazy. If we go in, we might not be able to come out. Li Xiu's expression changed. That's the only way to stop him. Even if we inform the lords to rush over now, it will be too late. Zhu Yunha's expression was gloomy. By the time the immortal venerables rushed over, their corpses would probably be cold. And that place was not far from here. Li Qing pondered for a moment and gritted his teeth. We'll listen to you. Given our understanding of that place, it won't be a problem for us to survive. The 3 of them flew at full speed. Zhu Yunha once again used his spatial divine item to travel through the chaos. Jiang Chongkong frowned slightly. Should he let them go for now and let the bone dragon lead the way? With his divine power, they could forget about escaping. He took out the chaos bone dragon, but it did not leave. Instead, it looked left and right. It looked ahead and then looked in the direction of the 3 of them. Jiang Chongkong, was it broken? Or were there clues left behind by the tributary of time in both directions? In the end, the Chaos Bone Dragon still chased after the 3 of them. Could it be that there are more clues over there? Jiang Chongkong frowned. Just as he was about to force his way in another direction, the conversation of the 3 of them caught his attention. Even we have not completely grasped this place. Furthermore, it concerns our origins. Is it really all right to lure him here? Li Xiu was still somewhat unwilling to enter. It's too dangerous here. Even if we come out from here, it doesn't mean that we can do whatever we want. Don't worry. So what if he can find some clues? This place can easily trap him and even kill him. Zhu Yunha sneered. Think carefully. If you kill him, the deaths of the 3 lords will not be blamed on you. We will definitely be able to return to the heaven realm and become our ancestors. Li Qing gritted his teeth. Stop talking nonsense. Li Xiu, go in. A pitch-black crack appeared in Jiang Chongkong's mind. A crack in the chaos. Endless chaos chi rose from the crack. Other than chaos chi, there was also some special aura, the aura of ancient immortals. Where did they come from? After pondering for a moment, Jiang Chongkong changed his mind and followed them. Even if he could find some of their companions, he would not be able to find out their origins if there were restrictions on their souls. It was better to see how this group of people came here first. The pitch-black crack was only 300 meters wide and 3,000 meters long, but it was 300,000 meters deep. They called it the chaotic heaven abyss. From their tone, this place was enough to bury immortal supremacies. If they were not late-stage immortal supremacies, or even stronger, they would not be able to bury him, a powerhouse who had killed 3 early-stage immortal supremacies. Jiang Chongkong looked at the pitch-black crack. In his mind, he sensed that the 3 of them had already gone down. The bottom was filled with immortal arrays. They were dispelling the immortal arrays and moving forward quickly. After entering the chaotic heaven abyss, the bottom became even darker. Even Jiang Chongkong could not see more than a kilometer. As he descended, his line of sight became shorter and shorter. Finally, it stopped at 100 meters. Fortunately, the chaos divine power was not isolated. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome. At the bottom was a ground paved with chaotic divine stones. Jiang Chongkong formed hand seals and activated the immortal arrays on the ground. He walked forward quickly. Chaos divine energy was hidden in their bodies, and he was very clear about the method they used to open it. As they went deeper, the power of the immortal arrays grew stronger. Fortunately, they were familiar with them and passed through easily. Boom! Suddenly, a flame lit up in the darkness. A spear light tore through the darkness and pointed at Li Qing's glabella. Li Qing's expression changed. He hurriedly circulated his immortal power to protect himself. The spear light pierced through the immortal power barrier and pierced through his body. Watch out! Zhu Yunhe and Li Qing's expressions changed drastically. They hurriedly took action. The might of an exalted immortal erupted and forced the spear light back. In the darkness, a youth wielding a flaming spear stood on wind and fire wheels. His eyes were blood-red and his killing intent was almost tangible, frightening his enemies. Damn it, the Neza bloodline has awakened. Li Qing's expression was cold. The chaotic divine stone pagoda in his hand shone with immortal light. Chapter 742. The figure in the darkness was awakening the ancient immortal god bloodline. However, it was different from them. It had sentience and was filled with killing intent and violence. Just like those chaos beasts, the spear swept across, illuminating the night. The youth held the divine spear and stepped on the wind-fire wheels. He was as fast as a ghost. Clang! Zhu Yunhe manifested a rake to block the divine spear. The majestic force forced Zhu Yunhe to retreat. Li Qing shouted. The chaos divine stone pagoda released immortal light, tearing the darkness and enveloping the youth. 1. The youth's body shook. The power of wind and fire surged out to resist the pagoda's suppression. Zhu Yunhe took the opportunity to sweep with his rake, immortal light like a waterfall. Boom! With the suppression of the pagoda, the youth's strength was limited. He staggered and seemed to be at a disadvantage. Li Xiu injected immortal power to activate Li Qing's pagoda. The siblings worked together. The Chaos Pagoda activated its divine might and its suction power increased greatly. Zhu Yunhe laughed coldly and activated the might of the rake. It was at the limit of an immortal emperor. With a boom, the rake and spear shook at the same time. The youth's body tumbled out. The pagoda pressed down and sucked the youth in. Divine fire appeared and burned the youth in the pagoda. A shrill and painful cry came from the pagoda. Little brat, you want to fight me? Li Qing's expression was cold as he kept the pagoda. You are really strong. Limit of an immortal emperor. Zhu Yunhe's expression was solemn. He awakened again. I hope he won't awaken an immortal venerable. How can he awaken an immortal venerable? The lords will clean this place regularly. Even an immortal venerable can't survive. Li Qing said, Are we going to continue forward? That Jiang Chongkong should have caught up. This place is at the limit of an immortal emperor. It is not suitable for us to continue forward. Li Xiu said, If we awaken a few more bloodlines, we might be able to stay here. Among the three of them, one was at the limit of an immortal emperor and two were at the peak. They looked good, but compared to the things here, they were far inferior. Find a place to hide. Found you. A cold voice sounded. Immortal light broke through the darkness. The three's expressions changed. They could not care less about the danger and turned to run. Why is this fellow so persistent? He can actually follow us so closely. Zhu Yunhe cursed. They had already escaped to this place, and there was a way to undo the immortal array, so they could advance easily. But Jiang Chongkong shouldn't know this place. How did he find them so easily? Could it be that he also had a way to dispel the immortal array? Did he plant any tricks on the two of you? Zhu Yunhe looked at the two. If Jiang Chongkong had left behind some means to track them, it would make sense. I don't know. The two of them shook their heads and told him everything about the few days they spent with Jiang Chongkong. Zhu Yunhe fell silent. Jiang Chongkong's strength far surpassed theirs. If he had left behind some tricks, they wouldn't be able to detect it at all. Let's go. Let's head there and temper our bodies first. No matter how powerful he is, he won't be able to find us. Li Xiu gritted her teeth and said. The three of them changed their direction, no longer advancing in a straight line. Jiang Chongkong undid the immortal array and followed unhurriedly. He really wanted to figure out what this place was. Why did Nez's bloodline appear? And why was it filled with violence and killing intent? Body cleansing? It could dispel his god power? If they weren't worried that he would discover it and plant a trick on them, then there might be another exit to the place where they were cleansing. The three of them undid the immortal array again. Another cold light shot over. This time, it was a scorching sword radiance, also filled with killing intent. This time, it was only a late-stage immortal emperor. They easily suppressed it. As they went deeper, almost every immortal array contained living beings. Without exception, these living beings all had violent killing intent. They belonged to the ancient immortal god bloodline. He saw Neza, Lu Chunyang, and even the extreme Yin bloodline. The weakest of these awakened bloodlines were late-stage immortal emperors, while the strongest were peak immortal emperors. Fortunately, there weren't many of them this time, so they could deal with them. If two peak immortal emperors appeared at the same time, they would also die here. Boom! After suppressing another peak immortal emperor, the three of them stopped. In front of them was a huge Xiantian spirit liquid pond. The formation runes inside were filled with dense immortal light, turning the streams of chaotic air currents into Xiantian spirit liquid. Essence, energy, and spirit. 3 million. Let's go. The three of them hurriedly rushed towards the Xiantian spirit liquid pond. Suddenly, the three of them stopped. They were frozen in the void by a powerful divine aura. A stream of god power silently entered Zhu Yunhe's body. Thank you for bringing me here. I'll gladly accept this Xiantian spirit liquid. Jiang Chongkong strode towards the Xiantian spirit liquid pond and kept the Xiantian spirit liquid. Buzz. Just as he kept the Xiantian spirit liquid, the pond shook, and strange patterns appeared on the Chaos Divine stone floor. The same pattern appeared in the air, illuminating the night sky. The three of them suddenly retreated. Idiot, you fell for it! Li Qing sneered and landed his palm on the immortal array pattern. Zhu Yunhe and Li Xiu quickly followed, injecting their immortal power into the array pattern. Jiang Chongkong's expression changed slightly. The immortal array pattern on the ground was like a rope, binding him. The immortal array pattern in the air also trapped him. Rays of mysterious immortal light tried to suppress his god power. Do you really think that we can't guess it and that you can hear our conversation? Li Qing's expression was cold as he said disdainfully, "Keep following me. Without the correct dermic art, even an immortal supremacy can't easily undo those immortal arrays." Just stay here, Li Xiu sneered. Jiang Chongkong frowned. Vast god power rose in his body, causing the immortal array to shake. Stop struggling. Even a mid-stage immortal supremacy can't escape from here, Zhu Yunhe sneered. Is that so? Jiang Chongkong's heart moved. 6 vortexes appeared, and the 6 paths of reincarnation appeared again. Rumble! The immortal array on the ground and in the air shook at the same time. Immortal light shot into the sky, and the entire immortal array was shaking. Let's go. The three of them changed their expressions and turned to leave. This immortal array probably couldn't trap this guy. A supreme force surged. As Jiang Chongkong activated the reincarnation disc, a sage aura spread, and cracks appeared on the immortal array. 6 paths of unity, without sky splitting. The strange immortal array was broken. Boom! Immortal power surged in all directions, causing the immortal array in the darkness to shake. Immortal power scattered in all directions like small snake. Jiang Chongkong consumed some recovery pills and chased after them. The 3 of them really underestimated him. Did they think that this immortal array could trap him? A mid-stage immortal supremacy couldn't escape? Jiang Chongkong sensed it. This should be referring to a mid-stage immortal supremacy that had just broken through, right? If he used the reincarnation disc, he should be able to fight against a mid-stage immortal supremacy? With the sky-splitting art, maybe he could fight? The 3 of them in the darkness were already panicking. They wanted to leave this place, but if they left, they would die even faster. Jiang Chongkong could really track them and even hear their conversation. In such a situation, other than waiting for death, there seemed to be no other way. What should we do now? Li Qing and Li Xiu panicked. Continue to go deeper and fight with all our might, Zhu Yunhe said through gritted teeth. Li Xiu said gloomily, fight with what? That was an immortal supremacy, and he even broke it just now. An array that could temporarily trap an immortal supremacy was something they couldn't fight at all. If they continued forward, they would probably die here before Jiang Chongkong could kill them. The deeper they went, the more terrifying the awakened bloodline was. Chapter 743. Although there would be chaos beasts and immortal spirits clearing them regularly, there were still some peak immortal emperors. After unraveling another immortal array, the trio wanted to slow down, but they did not dare to. There seemed to be endless danger in the darkness. It was extremely terrifying. Chi. The void trembled as the darkness was torn apart. The sound of something tearing through the air could be heard. The trio's hearts trembled. Just as they were about to block, they heard a painful grunt. A spear pierced through Li Xiu's body and pierced her heart. Violent killing intent surged into her body and severed her vitality. A black-haired youth held a spear with a cold expression. There were wind and fire wheels beneath his feet. Neza bloodline awakening again. Little sister. Li Qing was shocked and furious. The pagoda released divine light as he wanted to save her. Let's go. Zhu Yunhe, however, pulled him along and rushed forward. In the darkness, another figure appeared behind the youth. It was a figure that looked exactly the same. He had a head full of black hair and held a spear. There were wind and fire wheels beneath his feet. They had the same cultivation level, peak immortal emperor. These 2 peak immortal emperors were enough to kill all of them. The chaos divine power in Li Xiu's body shook as she tried to search his soul. There were also restrictions. Bang! The spear fell and Li Xiu fell heavily to the ground. A peak immortal emperor died just like that. The 2 did not chase. Instead, they turned to look behind them. Jiang Chongkong walked over slowly and looked at this scene with an abnormally calm expression. As though sensing how terrifying the newcomer was, the 2 figures used their divine powers at the same time. They had 3 heads and 8 arms, and their strength was pushed to the limit. The 2 spears were like 2 divine pillars that pierced through the void and stabbed towards Jiang Chongkong. Gotcha! The spear landed on his body, but it did not break his defense. The spear turned into countless pieces. Jiang Chongkong didn't care about the 2 of them and continued walking. The 2 immortal emperors who were at their limits suddenly stopped moving and slowly dissipated. Li Xiu's body dissipated and her spatial equipment flew out. Jiang Chongkong took a look and was slightly disappointed. There were only some chaos divine stones, some immortal herbs, and the chaos beast meat that he roasted. It was of no help to him. They did not really eat the roasted chaos beast meat and secretly stored it in their spatial rings. Jiang Chongkong sighed softly. This was really a loyal dog of the chaos beast. He stepped forward. In the darkness, the 2 of them fled in panic. Wherever Jiang Chongkong passed, the awakened bloodline experts that were secretly charging at him dissipated. He also had some essence, chi, and spirit, which was not bad. He had 460 points each. There were even more awakened bloodlines in the depths, and they were even stronger. One could even find several immortal formations. In their panic, the two of them ran to some unknown place and crashed into the immortal formation. Zhu Yunhe's spatial divine item was useless here. The immortal array had sealed the space. Even without the immortal array, they wouldn't dare to use it easily. If he was teleported to the side of a few peak immortal emperors, he would be dead. The immortal emperors broke their limits one after another. Jiang Chongkong could feel the divine energy within the bodies of the two of them, guiding him forward. Buzz. The two of them were lucky this time, and did not encounter too much trouble. However, they did not dare to stop. Roar. In the darkness, a strange roar resounded. It sounded like a human or a beast. The dense killing intent was as dazzling as a lamp in the darkness. Jiang Chongkong frowned. It wasn't because they faced danger, but because Zhu Yunhe and Li Qing stopped and came to a bright piece of land. The Xiantian's spiritual energy was thick on the ground, and the broken statue had collapsed. We are here, we are finally here. If that Jiang Chongkong has the ability, then come over. Zhu Yunhe was confident and said coldly, I know that you can hear me. If you dare to come over, I will dare to kill you. Jiang Chongkong ignored him. He was just a clown. Li Qing had a sad expression and didn't say anything. Zhu Yunhe said nonchalantly, What is there to be sad about? Isn't it just a sister? You make it sound nice. Even if I make another one, she won't have her current memories. Li Qing stared at him in rage and lowered his head. I have the best relationship with my sister. If I make another one, it won't be her. Then make a few more and choose the most obedient one. Zhu Yunhe bared his fangs and said coldly, Didn't you just kill her dozens of times to teach one obedient? Just do it again. Jiang Chongkong. Li Qing killed Li Xiu dozens of times? In order to choose an obedient sister? He must be crazy, right? Li Qing sighed. That will take another few hundred years. You are sad for time? Jiang Chongkong's mouth twitched. You guys are really more ruthless than the average evil demon. What's a few hundred years? When we go to the heaven realm and become ancestors, we have all the time in the world. Zhu Yunhe said coldly, At that time we will become the most honorable ones. No one can replace us, not even Lord. At that time we have all the time in the world to create companions that suit our hearts. Li Qing remained silent. Zhu Yunhe patted him. Let's go. Since we are here, we can't waste this chance. Li Qing then stood up and sized up this piece of land. The yellow soil was suffused with a strange golden color. A special aura rose from the ground. The two stepped on the broken statue and walked forward step by step. God power was also sizing up this place. The suppression was very strong. Even a peak immortal emperor would find it hard to use any immortal power. The two of them arrived at a shrine. The suppressive force came from this shrine. Around the temple was a huge blood pool. Dense blood energy and baleful aura surrounded the temple. An ancient path made of primal chaos divine stones crossed the blood pool and connected to the temple. The suppression here was even more terrifying. The two immortal emperors knelt down and slowly moved towards the temple. Inside the temple, mysterious lights danced and intertwined, releasing great divine might. The two looked at the mysterious lights with excitement. Splash! Suddenly, the blood in the blood pool stirred. A bloody hand grabbed towards Zhu Yunhe. Zhu Yunhe's expression changed and he quickly moved. The bloody hand retracted and the blood pool became calm again. The two's faces were pale. Why is there a awakening bloodline here? Li Qing's face was pale. Zhu Yunhe moved his fat body. Don't say anything. Quickly go in. If the monster in the blood pool rushed out, the two of them might die. Splash! The blood pool shook again. This time, it grabbed towards Li Qing. Li Qing's pale face was filled with horror. He hurriedly crawled forward, wishing that he had more legs. Fortunately, the bloody hand retracted quickly. Just as he was feeling puzzled, he heard a scream. Zhu Yunhe quickly grabbed towards him. Save me. A bloody hand and a youth slowly appeared from the blood pool. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with killing intent. Li Qing's expression changed. He kicked Zhu Yunhe. I will create another you. Zhu Yunhe wanted to curse, but there was only despair in his heart. The bloody hand suddenly exerted force and dragged half of his body into the blood pool. The moment he came into contact with the blood pool, his legs started to melt and rot. From the start, the bloody hand's target was him, a peak immortal emperor fatty, and not a peak immortal emperor like Li Qing. Li Qing crawled towards the temple in fear. He was afraid that he would be grabbed by the bloody hand and sent down to accompany Zhu Yunhe. At this moment, Jiang Changkong also arrived. He looked at the soil on the ground and then at the god statue. The god statue was an ancient immortal god. However, it was broken and its face was blurry. It was clawed. Chapter 744. It should be the chaos beasts that destroyed this place. Jiang Changkong arrived at the blood pool and a terrifying pressure assaulted him. It was even more terrifying than the celestial venerable array and the chaotic earth spirit. Under the heavy pressure, Jiang Changkong had no choice but to activate the chaotic golden body. As he stepped onto the chaos stone path, the pressure suddenly increased. There was a cracking sound and Jiang Changkong's bones shook. The blood pool was fluctuating. He took out the reincarnation disc and the might of a sage artifact spread out. He did not want to see if this blood pool could melt him. The blood pool calmed down wherever the sage might passed. The figure did not dare to offend the sage might. Buzz. Bang. A sound came from within the temple and a powerful aura spread out. Jiang Changkong's expression changed. Sage might. There was also a supreme sage might in the temple. Even with the reincarnation disc, he could not breathe. Li Qing was sprawled on the ground, unable to move as if he had been imprisoned. Mystic light was still dancing. Inside the temple, the mystic light covered the statue and could not be seen clearly. Jiang Changkong used the reincarnation disc to resist the sage might and walked forward step by step. As he advanced, the sage might became stronger and his bones made cracking sounds as if they were about to shatter. The 6 paths of reincarnation appeared and green light covered his body. Jiang Changkong moved forward step by step. The image of the Lady of Earth appeared behind him, emitting a special sage might. The 2 sage might collided in the air and cancelled each other out, relieving him of the pressure. It was a short distance, but Jiang Changkong walked for an hour. As he stepped into the temple, the sage might dissipated and the reincarnation disc disappeared. Li Qing was horrified. He did not expect Chen Changkong to catch up so quickly. Jiang Changkong glanced at him. His gaze pierced through the mystic light and saw the statue through the gap. It had a human head and a snake body. Its right arm was naturally lowered and its left hand was holding a chaos stone ball. Rays of mystic light flew out from the stone ball, but they were restricted to the temple and did not fly out. Li Qing, who was sprawled on the ground, felt that he could move again. A cold smile appeared on his face as he forced out a bit of immortal power. Buzz. When the celestial power came into contact with the mystic light sped up and intersected, forming a strange immortal formation that pressed down. Just as Li Qing was about to rush out, his body stiffened and flew uncontrollably toward Jiang Changkong. "Do you think I'll let you live?" Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Li Qing's body trembled, and he said malevolently, "The division formation has been activated, just wait to be disintegrated." "Decompose? Like you?" Jiang Changkong's expression turned solemn. Li Qing's flesh and blood began to fall off, fusing into the mystic light array and dissipating. "Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Not to mention an intermediate immortal venerable like you, even a late immortal venerable wouldn't be able to escape from this formation." Li Qing said savagely and let out a malicious laugh. "Originally, this empress wanted to have you lead the way to find the nest. Unfortunately, you've brought about your own destruction. Jiang Chongkong let go of Li Qing. His body shone with a green light, but strangely, he didn't feel any danger. The mystic light array seemed to ignore him. Reincarnation disc? He put away the reincarnation disc, but there was still no reaction. He put away the green light and divine power. The mystic light array was still not targeting him. Li Qing was a little dumbfounded. What was going on? Impossible, how can you be fine? Li Qing roared in disbelief and disbelief. Jiang Chongkong frowned and looked at the stone ball. That special aura was dissipating from the stone ball. It was the remnant power of time. Sorry for the offense. Jiang Chongkong bowed, and a divine power flew out and entered the stone ball. The stone ball trembled, and the remnant power of the tributary of time was activated. The recorded information began to appear. Everything in the surroundings started to change. A blurry figure could not be clearly seen in the river of time. The figure with a human head and a snake body waved his hand and drew out a chaotic heaven abyss, using chaos divine stones to refine a temple. He refined a statue, and a group of immortals lived here. Until one day this existence left, only leaving behind a wisp of power that fused into the chaos stone in the statue's hand. The descendants of the ancient immortals lived here. In the end, Ho-Tu came and modified this place, adding a blood pool. The ancient immortals could use their essence blood and the mystic light array to create descendants. After Ho-Tu left, many years later, the immortal spirits attacked. Countless immortal spirits commanded the chaos beasts to destroy this place. The immortal spirits and chaos beasts were broken down by the mystic light array, becoming nourishment for the blood pool. The ancient immortals finally activated the power in the stone ball, activating the holy power. In that battle, only a small number of the descendants of the ancient immortals survived. The immortal spirits and chaos beasts also suffered heavy casualties. Their blood flooded this place, and the aura of chaos polluted the blood pool. From then on, the descendants of the ancient immortals created by the blood pool became like the chaos beasts, violent, murderous, and even bloodthirsty. Many of the remaining late-stage immortals were also killed by these descendants. Almost all of them were wiped out. When only a few descendants of the ancient immortals were left, they surrendered to the immortal spirit. They took away part of the power in the stone ball and the method to create the blood pool. The scene ended there. Jiang Chongkong looked at Li Qing, who was about to die. You were created by those traitors? Li Qing calmed down even though he was about to die. I will come back to life. I will keep coming back to life. What a joke. This power will be used up sooner or later, and you are also created from essence blood. How much essence blood did the ancient immortals leave behind? He stepped on Li Qing, activating his divine power and turning him into minced meat. If I get rid of the aura of chaos here, will I be able to revive my bloodline and regain my consciousness? Jiang Chongkong muttered to himself, thinking about the feasibility of it. It's useless. An old voice came from the stone ball. Jiang Chongkong's expression froze as he looked at the stone ball. You are? A remnant soul. The old voice sighed. The illusory voice appeared outside the stone ball. My name is Lu Qian, one of the descendants of the ancient immortals here. So it's Senior. Was it you who protected me from the immortal array just now? Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands and said. The illusory voice shook its head and shuttled through the immortal array. This is a creation formation left behind by Goddess Nuwa. It was created according to the method of kneading soil to create humans. This formation doesn't affect living humans at all, so you won't be divided by the immortal array. Back then, Lu Qian had used the power of creation to protect a wisp of his remnant soul when he died in battle. That was also why he was able to survive until now. Originally, with the power of creation, he would be able to recover, be reborn, and even advance further with enough time. However, the descendants of the ancient immortals had betrayed him and forcefully taken away a portion of the power of creation. His remnant soul was severely injured, and he could only barely survive without being able to recover. He used the last bit of his power to preserve most of the power of creation and maintain this place. Traitors should be killed, Jiang Chongkong said coldly. They took away a portion of the power of creation, but they didn't forget the remaining power of this place. They would come here every once in a while. I could only sleep and try my best to avoid consuming the power of creation. That's why the aura of the reincarnation disc alarmed me. Lu Qian explained and sighed. After so many years, I don't know how many bloodlines of the immortals they have created. They were originally left behind to deal with the immortal spirits, but now they've become their means. How ironic. Senior, may I ask what exactly is a immortal spirit? Why can't it command the chaos beast?